What's going on, guys? Can you hear me
What's
all
happening,
right?
guys?
Okay, cool. All right, awesome. Well, everyone, thank you, everyone out there. Thank you for coming over here, and we're really excited about this. And of course, Chris and Steven, thank you. I know we've been talking about this for a bit, and kind of a mix of all of our brainchild. So we're really happy that you guys agreed to come on here with me for this.
Yeah, thank you, man. I do want to say, I don't know if you're noticing it. You are like a touch behind. There's like a second delay. I don't know if you're seeing it with us.
No, is it like the audio to the
Yeah.
video delay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I think it's better now.
Okay, cool. All right. Awesome. Well, again, thank you. And then to everyone out there, what we're going to be doing is we want to be very respectful of Adam's time with us. So if you guys have any like questions you want to ask, we're actually going to say that till the end of the video. So, and we'll let you know, of course, at that point. And then you can go ahead and bring your questions in and stuff. But if you guys want to comment, if it's pertinent to the topic we're on, definitely go ahead and throw that in the chat. And like I said, if it's pertinent to what we're talking about, I'll display it. So anyways, without further ado, let's bring on the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Adam Marcus.
Hey guys.
What's going on, dude?
I'm good. I like that intro is quite something.
Yeah.
I hope
we had to build you up.
I hope I live up to any of that. And by the way, just so that you know, listen, I'm here. It's Sunday. I'm happy to hang out with you guys. So don't worry about being respectful of my time. I'm giving it freely to you guys.
Oh man,
really appreciate it. But
all right, 6-hour stream incoming. Let's
you open the door now,
guys. Literally, on the when we recorded the documentary, the director tells this story a lot. He says you can literally see on my interviews, you can see the sun come up and go down during my interview.
You know what's funny you say that? So I was listening to the commentary on Jason Goes to Hell with you and Peter Brack, and you guys were talking about how you recorded the first commentary at that what's it called? Margarita Mix?
Margarita Mix, yeah, Dean, Lori, and I, yep.
And the whole time I was just thinking, so Steve and I, we host a podcast where we discuss movies based on their audio commentaries.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was like, man, how cool would it be to have a place like that to go and record that
well,
at?
What's awesome is that, I mean, for those who don't know, Margarita Mix was a mixing stage in LA just for commentary tracks. That's literally what they made it for. And the concept behind it was they would serve you margaritas while you were doing the commentary track. Now, here's the thing. I have never had a sip of alcohol in my life. I know you just lost half your audience, but it's true.
Oh no.
And so I've never done drugs. I've never been inebriated anyway. But my roommate at that time in our early 20s, my roommate and writing partner Dean Lori, I mean, he would snort peanut butter if you told him it got him high. And he was drinking margaritas like they were going out of style. And I'm telling you, he got slowly schnockered while I stayed completely sober. And it became so much more fun for me because I could just fuck with him while we were doing the commentary track. It was amazing. It was amazing.
I wish I could like get a list of all the commentary tracks recorded there from then, so then we can reference that. That would be incredible.
Well, I can tell you, cool. I got a note. We were halfway through my track, and they paused us for a moment so we could, get a drink of water and whatnot. And while they're doing that, the mixer came over to me and said, "Hey, I have a note from you from next door." And I was like, "Oh, cool." From who? They said, "Well, the director of the movie we're doing next door." I said, "Who is it?" He said, "You should just take a look at it." I was like, "Okay." And I opened up the note and it said, "Hey, Adam, I love your movie, Penny Marshall." They were doing a League of Their Own next door.
Oh, no way.
A drunk Penny Marshall wrote me a note to tell me how much she loves Jason Goes to Hell. I was like, wait a minute, what? Laverne loves Jason Goes to Hell? That is badass. I don't think I'd ever felt more like a rock star than in that moment. I was like, that's so fucking cool. I'm the Fonz all of a sudden.
Well, now we have to do an episode of the podcast on League of Their Own. We got to use that commentary track. Steve.
Yeah,
she's a badass. She was a horror fan, so that's pretty cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, very cool. Again, well, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. We're, we're excited excited for, this documentary that, has been teased, and now it seems like it's here. So
it is
about that.
Yeah, it is. It is. So the documentary that took, twice as long to do as the movie took. So look, here's the thing. When I did not want to do a documentary, I had been asked for decades now to do a documentary about Jason Goes to Hell. And for my money, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, here's the thing. I know that on my headstone, it will be Adam Jason Goes to Hell Marcus. Like, I know. I mean, I've done a lot of shit since then, and I've won a lot of awards, and I'm a Sundance filmmaker and all this stuff. And I am still Adam Jason Goes to Hell Marcus. You know what? I'll take it. I'll take it, That said, I was like, do people really want to hear more about this movie? Do they really? And at the time I was feeling pretty low about the film because not that I don't love the movie. I love the movie. And I'm very proud of what we did. And I never apologize for that film. But the fans had been less than kind to us in the aughts. And it's funny because everybody thinks that the movie got shit talked at the beginning. It's not true. It's not true. There was a divided audience without a doubt. There were people who were pissed. But I will tell you something. Like, I went to many screenings of that movie when it first came out in 93. There was not one theater where by the end of the movie, people weren't up on their feet cheering for the movie. Like, it was crazy. And we got great reviews. We were one of the only Friday the 13th movies to get any good reviews. The New York Times liked our film. The New York Times. That did not happen for Friday the 13th movies, right?
High praise.
It just didn't. It just didn't. The Wall Street Journal called us a call to morality because of the unsafe sex equals death scene in the movie. So, there was all these, it was really cool, right? By the way, when the movie came out, my first two interviews, the Monday after Jason Goes to Hell came out, my first interview was with Francis Ford Coppola, who pitched me a zombie ninja movie. That I was doing for Zoetrope, that I ended up working on for Zoetrope, that didn't happen because the company went belly up. Yeah. And then the next Friday night, I was flown to New York to meet with Robert De Niro, who had seen the film and loved it. So the movie got a lot of love at the beginning, right? It was a lot of love, right? Yeah. Okay. And then the fucking internet happened.
It is the worst thing to ever happen. Yeah. I just want to say
the most powerful learning machine ever created, the most incredibly powerful political, knowledge-based, amazing thing, and all the porn you could ever want. And we have turned it into a place for guys who sit in mom's basement to type and be pissed off that somebody else does something that they wish they could do, but they don't do. Right? I mean, let's call it what it is. By the way, a critic who goes to school to become a critic who's a great writer. Roger Ebert, I will tell you this. Do you guys know who David Wayne is?
Offhand, no.
Okay. He's the director of things like Role Models. He did Wet Hot American Summer.
Okay,
He's part of The State, the group The State. I went to college with David. We've been friends since. And in fact, two of the guys from The State, Joe Latruglio from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Tom Lennon from Reno 911, those two guys were the stars of my student film that got me my career. Well, David Wayne was part of this group. David, when he made Wet Hot American Summer, Roger Ebert wrote a review of the movie, right? And it's in his book, I really, really, really hated your movie. Okay? David has it on his wall, framed on his wall. Because what Roger Ebert did was he took the old camp song, Hello Mutta, Hello Fata, and he wrote his review to that piece of music. So he Weird Al Yankovic the review. Okay. And the review is nothing but tearing the movie to pieces and shitting all over the movie. And David is like, that is the most proud thing I have on my wall because Roger Ebert took that much time to hate my movie.
Yeah.
So a great critic, I'm all for, man. Slam me. I'm good. Let's do it. When you got some guys like, it's not enough Jason, it fucking sucks. The movie's a piece of shit. Okay. All right. All right, Brady. Yeah. You got anything else to say? Let's talk.
The art of the critic is gone though. I say this all the time. Like half of the YouTube crowd that does I'll watch a review for a movie I've already seen, and I'm just like, I don't know where they're getting the reason for hate is always I think a good critic, you have to be constructive in your criticism, right? Have justification for what you're doing. People don't have that anymore. They just go, that didn't work. I don't like that, and that's why this movie sucks. They can't say like, oh, this is why I feel that way because of the structure, because of this or whatever. They don't. They're just like, yeah, I hate that. And now it's like all about the clicks. So it's like if movie A is getting 9 great reviews, you have the one person that's like, yeah, this shit sucks because they know they're going to get more clicks.
By the way, there are movies that I am not a fan of, right? That there are films that I'm not crazy about, right? A lot, but I will always give the devil their due about what's great about the movie, about what works about the movie,
Absolutely.
And that's one of those things that I just feel has been lost in this idea of most movies, most films that are made are somewhere between a B and a D. Okay. There's a few A's, like a very tiny, tiny amount of A's, and then only a few real F's. In the middle is where most movies are. By the way, look, the movie Nora. Have any of you guys seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Right. That's a really good movie, right? I mean, that's a really, really good movie. Is it an Academy Award-winning Best Picture? No. But by the way, if you say that, it's like you're denigrating the movie. I'm like, no, that movie is a great B movie. That's a B. That's a solid 85% on the scale, which is an amazing thing to pull off for any movie. That's extraordinary. And I love Sean Baker. I'm a huge Sean Baker fan. But I go like, the film is really good. It's not that good. It's good. And we've lost the idea of in the middle. We've lost this idea of like most things live somewhere in the middle because of clicks. You're 100% right. Everything is either the best thing someone's seen or a total piece of garbage. And that's heartbreaking. So, but to get back to your question, I did not want to do a documentary because I was like, I've had it. I get beat up about this movie all the time. I've had people wish me ass cancer about this movie.
Oh my God.
And I'm literally like, hey, listen. Okay. I understand you don't like the film. Who touched you when you were a child?
Yeah.
Right.
Who hurt you?
What happened to you? Because like, show me on the doll because there's something wrong. Something horrible happened to you. And you're wishing me ass cancer because I made a Friday the 13th movie you don't like? Really? So I didn't want to do it. Then there were these two guys, and everybody had tried to sell me on this, and I wasn't interested. There were these two guys, TJ Bowser and Corey Kaufman. And they were sort of super fans of the film. They're really sweet dudes. And they, for my birthday in 2019, they made the Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Fan page site. And I thought, oh, that's adorable. Thanks, man. Like, that's really cool. Like, that's a very sweet thing to do, right? And I thought, all right, there'll be like 10 people on here, and they'll talk about Jason Goes to Hell for a few days, and then that'll be that. By the end of the week, there were thousands of people on it. And it got noticed by other horror Facebook groups as like, this one, no one is shit talking anybody. And the moderators won't allow anybody to talk off topic. Everything has to be positive and really like, didn't mean you can't criticize the movie, you can talk about it, but it had to be done in a positive manner. And so this community started forming that was really kind-hearted and kind of amazing. I was like, what is happening? Well, then they sent me a deluge of, please make a documentary about this movie. And that's when I was like, oh, for the love of God, okay.
At least they're showing love for the movie, though. It's genuine appreciation for the legacy it's had.
Without a doubt. And by that point, there have been several articles suddenly written about, like, you should reassess this movie. Hey, why were we sleeping on this? Really, is it just for the hockey mask? The rest of the movie is awesome. Like, those kinds of things. And I was like, and again, I'm humbled by anybody saying anything like that, because I'm like, that is very sweet. And you're looking at a movie I made a long time ago, and how awesome. Thank you. I said, I will make the movie and I will not earn $1 from it. I will not take a salary, nothing. But I am not making my company pay for it. I'm not going to have Skeleton Crew put up the funds for this. So I said, look, if everybody wants this thing, great, pay for it. You guys put the money up, I will make the movie. And again, I have not made $1 in 6 years. I've made $1 on this movie. And that's okay. Like, I'm like, that's cool. I'm in for that. That's what I contribute. You contribute cash, I'll contribute myself. Great. We got that thing funded so fast it was stupid. And I was like, damn it, now I gotta go make this thing. And at the time, I had brought on a director who I'd met through Peter Bracke, through my friend Peter, who's an amazing guy. And Peter and I had an interesting past because when he did Crystal Lake Memories, he was writing that really for Sean Cunningham. And Sean Cunningham was like the guy who kind of fed Peter so much information. So he needed Sean because Sean is an important part of that story. Well, the book kind of slanted against me. And it was interesting because Peter came to me when they were doing the Blu-ray set for Shout Factory, for Scream Factory.
Okay.
And he needed me to, do interviews and stuff. And so he called me. We hadn't talked in a long time. And he called me up. He said, look, Adam, he said, we're doing this thing. I'd love to come and interview you. I'd love to have you part of this package. He said, but I need to apologize for a few things before that happens. And if you don't want to do it, I totally understand. I was like, okay. And he basically said, look, he said, look, I bought Sean's bullshit hook, line, and sinker way back when. Yeah, it was bullshit. And I've learned that over the years. And I'm really sorry because I should have heard you more because this guy abused a lot of people. And I was like, oh, thank God somebody's hearing it. That's awesome. So Peter was the one who interviewed me for that. And he brought this other guy there to shoot the thing. And when we went to make the doc, I was like, hey, how about you and that guy who was at my house? Why don't you guys put this thing together? Like, I can't direct the movie. I'll produce it, but I need somebody objective. And I want people to say, oh, that Adam was an asshole on set. Like, I'm cool with that. Like, throw it at me. Like, I want it to be real. If we're going to do it, let's make a real documentary, not a behind the scenes puff piece. And so we started working together and we started collecting footage. And by the end of February of 2020, which was only 3 months after the campaign had ended. And by the way, we had already sent out all the perks. All the perks had gone out. The only thing that hadn't gone out was the Blu-rays, right? Because we didn't have them yet. Yeah. We had collected over 30 interviews by the end of February, right? So we were cooking. And I was like, great. This movie's going to be done in a year. We're in and out. It's going to be awesome. Everybody gets the movie. Fantastic. And then March came. And here's the thing. Where are you guys all located?
I'm in Michigan.
California.
New Jersey.
Okay. Where in California?
Just north of Sacramento.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it was like in Sacramento. I know what it was like the rest of the country. People had lockdowns, and some people were locked down 3, 5, 8, 10 months. Yeah. Southern California was locked down for over 2 years.
Yeah.
We were in lockdown.
That's insane.
Lockdown for over 2 years. Okay. So, by the way, it's not just me that's locked down. It's all of the subjects for this movie are locked down. And we're going into people's houses. I didn't want to go to a stage or a studio and put up a green screen. Oh, there's a picture of you in the movie. I didn't want to make that. Everybody made that movie already. Yeah. I'm cool. And by the way, I got a bone to pick. And I've never talked about this. I got a bone to pick with Crystal Lake Memories, with the movie, not the book, but the movie. Okay. Those motherfuckers did not one day shoot me for that movie. Not once. They recycled footage from his name was Jason. They never came to me about that film.
Really?
They never interviewed me.
Interesting. Okay.
And by the way, I'm okay with the fact I don't need to get paid or some shit. I don't expect it. It's a documentary. Nobody should be paid.
Right.
But that said, they didn't get me any bite at the apple of anything to talk about in that film. So all they did was recycle footage from another movie, which I think is really gross. Like, I'm like, wait a second, guys, you're not a YouTube channel. You guys were selling a movie for real money to the public.
Yeah.
And it's just recycled footage. Not one frame of that is new.
And a documentary that's being labeled as the definitive Friday the 13th documentary.
Right. And that's bullshit. That's bullshit, because I can tell you they spent 20 minutes on Jason Goes to Hell in a 4-hour plus movie. And I go like, guys, for the fact that Sean Cunningham produced the movie, you should have been on that a little longer. There's more to tell there. And they told nothing. They told a superfluous version of it. And that's fine. Like, that's fine. That's fine. Make your movie. I'm okay with all of it, except for you sold it as though it was a new thing. It was not a new thing. It was not a new thing. It was recycled footage. And that pisses me off. It still pisses me off.
Yeah.
Not cool. And again, like I've never said no to somebody who was going to be making a legit documentary. I've said no to a lot of people in my career, not to somebody who's like, no, I'm doing something that looks legitimate. Here's what we're doing. And it's going to be fair-handed. We're giving all sides. Great. I'll jump in. I'll talk about it. Then at least my voice is being heard, right? Right. Like you guys are doing right now. So look, I'm shooting the movie. We get stuck. I go to shoot more interviews, but we're going into people's homes and they don't want anybody in their house. Like it was crazy out here, guys. I mean, it was years of just nobody having any communication with each other. It was crazy. So once that ended, we resumed some shooting, and I pretty quickly realized that the guy we had hired as director was just the wrong guy. He just didn't have a vision for the movie. He didn't have a vision for what I kept saying, like, yeah, but what's the movie about? I see all this footage we're collecting, but you got to tell a story. What's the story you're telling? And please don't tell me the making of this movie. That's boring. Like, what is your take? What do you want to say?
How far in did you get before you started feeling like that?
Pretty far.
Okay.
Pretty far. We had already done probably 35 interviews by that point, 36, 37.
Okay.
So yeah. And I will tell you this, during my interview, this director fell asleep twice.
My goodness.
At one point, he said he had a headache and he went and laid down on my couch and fell asleep while I was being interviewed. And he snored during the interview and we caught it on tape. I was like,
yeah, I think at that point you kind of know.
Yeah, I was like, this is not working.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It was really something. So we parted ways and all was good. You know, it's creative differences. Cool. Good to go. And I have nothing negative to say. Go do your thing. It's okay. At that point, I turned to Peter Bracchi and say, hey, dude, listen, I need a director. Like I need somebody great. There were 5 amazing documentarians that wanted to do the movie. So I was like, great, let's set up meetings. He says, yeah. He says, but here's the thing. There's one guy that you got to meet first. There's one guy. I was like, okay, cool. Who? He says, this guy, Michael Felsher. I think you're going to freaking love him. I was like, I know his work. He's terrific. I said, okay, yeah, I'm happy to, let's meet him. So we get on Zoom. He's in Detroit. And have you guys all seen the movie Wolfman Got Nards?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, yep.
Documentary about the making of the Monster Squad. And I am a huge fan of that movie. That movie toured with my last film, my last film, Secret Santa, when we were out in festival competition all around the world. Yeah. And everywhere I was playing, there would be Wolfman Got Nards. So I saw it a few times. And I love that film. I just think it's a beautifully constructed narrative. I just think it's a touching movie that tells a story that nobody knows. And I was like, this is a cool little movie. So Michael gets on the line with me. We're talking. And I said, so Michael, how do you see the movie? Like, what's your take on the movie? And he said, okay, have you seen Wolfman Got Nards? I was like, uh-huh. And he starts saying, yeah, that I want it to be like that. And here's what I mean. And he starts laying out the movie he wants to make. My producing partner, Ali Rivera Quinones, and I truly, like, tears start welling in our eyes because we had been lost in the woods for 3 years with someone who just didn't know what he wanted to make. And suddenly we've got someone who's not just telling what he wants to make, but a movie that we're like, oh, we want to make I want to see this movie. Like, you're giving me the movie that we should be making. I immediately hired him. I'm like, Michael, you're the guy. It's done. I don't need to meet with the 4 other guys. I'm thrilled. All good. And then he says, that's awesome, Adam. Thank you. He says, but I want to prove to you how much I believe in this project. I said, okay. He said, go look at your receipts for the first day of the campaign. I said, of the Indiegogo campaign? He's like, yeah. And I go back and look. He was the 3rd contributor to the entire movie. He's the 3rd guy put money into the movie. Cool. When he had nothing to do with the film.
It's like a full circle moment.
It really is. I was like, wow, you put your money where your mouth is before your mouth had to be here.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So I brought Michael on and the clouds parted and the river stopped running, and I was like, holy shit, we're making a fucking movie. And the other piece of this puzzle that was really incredible. So, okay, my production company is Skeleton Crew.
Mm-hmm.
I created that company when I was 15 years old. I own the company. It's a legal company in the state of California. I made the company when I was 15 for my theater company back east. And it was 4 guys were part of the company. Me, my brother Kip, who of course you all know from the movie, a buddy named David Kramer, who was a cinematography lunatic, and my best friend in the world, a guy named Eric Beatner. Eric and I have been best friends since we were 14. I got jobs for David Kramer and Eric Beatner on the movie Jason Goes to Hell, as well as my brother Kip. All 4 of them were going to be working on the film. All 4 of us.
So cool.
Now, by the way, from 15, we had business cards. I have the business cards in my basement. I swear to God, and like all 4 of our names are on this business card. It's freaking hilarious. This guy Eric and this guy Dave, because we got shut down right while we were just about to head into production, we got put on a yellow light because they wanted to rewrite, and Elon wanted to rewrite. My friend Dave convinced my buddy Eric that, I was full of shit. The movie wasn't going to happen, and they got to get the fuck out of California and go back east because we all grew up in Westport in New York. And they left. And 2 weeks later, we were back up and running, and we were shooting a movie. And so these guys that I had been with since I was 15 years old, where we were this crew, and we were going to do this together, and we're going to go make our movie. My buddy Dave had gotten, he'd gotten jealous. He was not happy of being an assistant camera. By the way, he had just gotten out of film school, and he was assistant camera on a major motion picture. That's what's heartbreaking. My buddy Eric was basically told that I was lying and that there would be no money, and he had no money, and he had graduated 2 weeks before he got to LA to shoot this movie. So he was freaking out, just like, I can't eat, right? So they leave. By the way, for my brother Eric to have a role in this movie was second assistant editor. I took money out of my salary to make that position available.
Oh,
wow!
So, which he never knew. He never knew. He still doesn't know it unless he's watching this today. He doesn't. Well, here's the crazy thing. We saw each other a few times back east in Connecticut over the years. And at one point he was working for J. Crew and, folding shirts, in Westport. And I was like, dude, what did you do? Anyway, what I didn't know was that he left that behind, and he wanted to be an editor. That was his love. So I'm out here. This is about 15 years ago. I'm at a party in Hermosa Beach, and I live in El Segundo, so a few towns down in the South Bay in LA. And I'm at this party on the beach. It's amazing. And it's a bunch of people from my high school, and we're all there. We're kind of reunioning a little bit. And there's my friend Eric with his wife. And I'm like, and his little girls. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, what the hell? You're in LA? He's like, yeah, I've been here for like 10 years. I'm like, holy shit. I said, what are you doing? He says, I've been cutting Fear Factor for the last, I was like, really? He's like, yeah, I've cut every episode. I'm like, holy shit, man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I said, well, where are you living? What's that? He says, oh, this tiny little beach town up the road. I was like, what beach town? Oh, it's little El Segundo. I was like, you're fucking with me. He's like, no. He says, I've been there for the last 6 years. I'm like, dude, I live in El Segundo. I'm like, where do you live? He tells me. I'm like, dude, we're less than a mile apart.
That's insane.
We're living less than a mile apart. So that dude, basically came to me with this incredible apology about what had happened. This is years later after we had seen each other. And he had moved on. He's now the editor for The Amazing Race. He actually just got nominated for his 10th nomination for Best Editor. Wow. He's never won. He's like the Susan Lucci of television editors. This dude, he just cut this documentary.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And he is now, he was an actor. He's one of the leads of my student film that got me all of this, that got me my career.
Yeah.
This dude is now an actor in my troupe, in my company. Okay, because I teach acting 3 nights a week for the people that end up being in my movies.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but we screened the movie in LA just a few weeks ago in the same theater, by the way, that Sean Baker and I are both trying to save, the Gardena Cinema in Los Angeles.
Very cool.
And so Eric came to the screening, and we did like a Q&A afterwards, and he's sitting on the stage, and his eyes start to fill with tears, and I'm looking at him, and he says on the mic, he says, he said, I don't want this moment to escape without me recognizing that, like, for the first time in my career, I just saw my name as an editor of any movie on a screen, but it's a movie that my best friend is the producer of, and he's the subject of. And it's based on the movie that I should have been making with him 30 years ago.
It's so special.
And yeah, he's like, I can't tell you what it means that my name is there. And Eric and I are now making 6 movies together. And that all happened because of this documentary. That all sort of everything coalesced around this documentary happening. So yeah. I mean, the power of this, and I don't want to oversell it, but I'm, look, it's a good movie. I didn't direct it, so there's another artist who made the movie. But between Eric and Michael, they've crafted something that has the spirit of what I just talked about. It's not just a movie about the making of a movie. It's the movie about a 23-year-old moron who literally became Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. Like literally, like that's what happened. And I got to have the reins of this thing that I adored. I love the Friday the 13th franchise. It was part of my whole life. It was part of my growing up. I don't mean seeing it. I was involved on the ground personally. And so it was the fruition of this dream. And it's also a story about anybody who wants to be a filmmaker. What is possible if your head is to the grindstone, if you work your ass off, and if you are open to the possibility of shit happening, of crazy shit happening. It's also about what filmmaking does to people and how it creates families. I mean, I don't know if any of you have seen Secret Santa, my last movie, but the movie is a big middle finger to family. I am not one of those people that's like mi familia, fuck all that. I'm a little more in the the Vin Diesel camp of family. Because I think your family are the people you choose, not the place you were born into. You can be born into a bunch of assholes. But when you make your choices in your life and you bring people together, you can be an unstoppable force. You can really create things together that are remarkable. I'm not just talking about film, but anything. I mean, your possibilities are limitless if the people around you are amazing. And I've been lucky enough to be able to do that, and the movie really carries that. It's wild. It's like people are getting all teary-eyed and shit. It's a movie about fucking Jason Goes to Hell. Like that shouldn't be happening, but it's happening.
What's so relatable about that is I was always kind of like the black sheep of my family, being into movies and stuff. And as I got older, I kind of realized the same thing you did, where I was like, hey, look, family is who you surround yourself with. It's not necessarily who you're born into. So
absolutely.
As I got older and I started separating myself from that, I started realizing that I'm not getting younger. I need to start chasing this thing I'm so passionate about, which is film and stuff. And over the last, I have to say, 5 years that I've been talking about physical media and talking about movies, the journey has been incredible, and it's been all these ups and downs. And the other day I had a moment where Steve and I were kind of planning stuff for the podcast. And I was like, man, I was like, there's stuff happening. I think it was actually kind of planning this with you once we started getting this together. I was like, there's things happening that were dreams years ago, and I need to stop and take this in. And guys like Jordan and Steve, to me, are closer than me and my family will ever be. And these are guys who, admittedly, just a couple years ago, I had no idea who they were. None of us knew each other. And it was like lightning in a bottle when we all met. And another one of our friends created this incredible group chat, and it brought everything together. And it was like, I can't imagine a scenario where like we could have written it any better than it all fell together.
Not at all.
And it's a beautiful thing, and I can't imagine taking that and scaling it up to the point where you're on stage and having that moment. That's incredible, man.
Mm-hmm.
But by the way, look, it's the other part. And by the way, what you just said is freaking beautiful. What I think is remarkable. Look, right after I did Jason Goes to Hell, right? I met with Coppola, I met with De Niro, all that cool shit.
Yeah.
And I was offered Scary Movie, Scream. And 2 weeks after I was offered Scary Movie, Wes said, I like this movie, Scary Movie. I was like, fuck, I'm totally not getting that job. And I really liked that script. I was really a fan. The reason they did is because Jason Goes to Hell, at a time when nothing was meta, was incredibly meta. And they went, ooh, this might be the guy to like get what we're doing here.
Yeah.
But again, Wes was like an uncle to me growing up, and so Uncle Wes got it. Good for him. I freaking love Wes. I actually was I was at the first table read of A Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
They talk about that in Collis Clark's book that's coming out, Screaming Conjuring, mentions that about how you were in the running leading up to it. And that was shocking to me. I was like, oh, that would have been so cool.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But by the way, look, Wes is just the casting of Drew Barrymore alone, and that was completely Wes's idea. You just got no. The right guy directed that movie, please. That in and of itself, you just go, okay, you're a fucking genius. You killed off the biggest name in your film in 5 minutes. Not worthy.
Yeah.
That said, I was offered nothing but movies that had numbers at the end, right? So, Amityville 97, Pumpkinhead 2, Leprechaun Back 2, The Hood. It was a lot. I've been offered 3 Leprechaun movies in my career. I feel so good that I've turned all of them down. And by the way, I wrote a movie in the Cabin Fever franchise. Like, I'm not saying that I won't go low. I'll go.
Yeah.
But you got to give me something interesting. You got to give me something that I can do something with. Otherwise, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
I want to be gold. You can only go so far.
Yeah.
And so when all of that was happening, I was writing original scripts, and my wife and I, Deborah, who's my writing partner and my producing partner and my life partner, and she's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
The two of us, we were selling a lot of stuff, but nothing was getting made. It was all just sitting on studio shelves, which is the life of most writers. And I was like, I want to make another movie. And my brother Kip brought me this play that he had written that had been performed at the at the Tribeca Institute. Again, back to De Niro.
That's what I was about to say.
It was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But the play was really pretentious, and I did not like the play. But he wanted to turn it into a film, and he wanted it to be sort of like a brother film to my movie that I'd made in college. This movie called So You Like This Girl, which was a romantic comedy as if written by David Mamet that my brother and I made. And I directed it. Kip wrote it. And so he wanted to do this. And so we started workshopping the script. And he was going to direct it originally, but pretty much, realized like, no, I can't direct it and be in it. Would you be interested in directing it? And I was like, fuck yeah, I think it's a cool movie. And so I went from having all this studio success and all this stuff because I'd already made Johnny Zombie, My Boyfriend's Back for Disney, which was the first film I produced. At 21, I sold that one. And then at 22, I started working on Jason Goes to Hell.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd all that studio stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to New York and shoot this little indie. Like, I'm going to do this for nothing. Like, let's just go make a movie. And again, it started my long journey of directing for no money. And we made this film for $200,000. And this is on 35 millimeter, guys. There's no digital. Didn't exist. To make a movie for $200,000 on 35 millimeter is insane. It's an insane thing. And and by the way, it was a SAG movie, completely union. It's one of the first films of Stephen Colbert. It's one of the first movies of Missy Pyle, if any of you guys are Galaxy Quest fans. This movie, Henry Simmons, it was his first film, Miriam Shore, the number of actors that exploded out of this movie was freaking insane. But it was also the return of one of my idols, Bernadette Peters, who had given up filmmaking for 8 years prior to this, and she was just doing Broadway. And we convinced her to be in this movie. We made this thing for no money. We had no time. I had 50 locations and over 50 speaking roles. We had no money to make this happen. And the movie gave me a whole new career. I mean, it really did, because we were a giant Sundance hit. The movie played festivals all over the world. We won awards all over the world. And then suddenly I had like this huge television career, which is like, what the fuck? Which I didn't see coming. But here's the thing. I kept coming back to horror over and over again because it kept drawing me, because it's my favorite and I love it. And but to your point, the only way that I could have done what we did in New York with all of that was, my brother and I were Broadway kids. My brother's been on Broadway since he was 13 years old. And he was in Les Mis when we made this movie. He was playing Marius on Broadway. And it, because of the relationships that you establish with the people who become your family, Bernadette Peters is like the mother I wish I'd had, These are extra. And by the way, she played my mother in the movie, which is insane. These are the things that you look back on in your life and go, no, I chose correctly. And I chose people that were worth creating that creative family with. And those people become the people you live with the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty, I don't know, man. It's a funny thing. I try to be as present as possible all the time. And it's something that I try to preach to people, because I think
Sure.
I don't know. Nowadays, I feel like people are everybody has dreams, everybody has goals, but I feel like there's this lack of effort being put towards them. 100%. And there's almost like this, I want to be handed it thing. And I feel like what my parents taught me when I was young was the world owes you nothing. You have to work for it. You have to dig for it. So it's the late nights. It's the emails that probably aren't going to get answered, but you send anyway. It's the chances that you take.
Yep.
And it's amazing, how many people I feel like we hear from that. I every now and then I'll get a message from somebody that's like, "Oh, I want to start a podcast. How do I start? What equipment do I buy?" And I'm like, "Just start.
Just do it."
Yep. Just literally, because you never know. Until
it's
you
probably
take
the hardest part.
It is, dude. Yeah. I don't care where anything that we pursue goes. The hardest thing we ever did was day one.
Of course,
that was the hardest part.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
always, man. To even be here, in this right now is I haven't wrapped it around my head yet, so it's that's such it's so cool to hear other people that are in the same situation, obviously on a different scale and in a different area in a different way, but to hear that is incredible. So thank you for that.
No worries, dude.
Yeah.
My brother, in his interview in the movie, he says something very sweet, and it does speak to what you're talking about, and it speaks to where my mindset has been my whole life, because everybody keeps asking, how the fuck did you get that movie at 23? And I'm like, well, I didn't get it at 23. I got it at 21.
Yeah.
So let's backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
I started writing 2 years before I directed the movie. So I had also been in the film business since I was 11. So I was 10 years in already, guys. I know you think that, dude, 21, the age doesn't matter. It's the years you were in the thing. And my brother was talking about working with me because I had directed Kip in, 20 plays, 20 musicals by the time we got to to Jason Goes to Hell. And Kip said to me, he said, when somebody said, "Oh, your brother's directing a movie at 23," he said it was like an underachieving moment for Adam. I expect him to do that at 17.
Yeah.
But that was my mindset. That's not, it's not some superpower. It's that I never thought of myself as anything but a filmmaker. It's such a cliche for people my age, but from the moment the Tantive 4 flew over my head, followed by the Star Destroyer, at the beginning of the first Star Wars, I'm 9 years old. I look up at the screen and I'm just, and I pointed and I said, I want to do that. And my dad, who's sitting next to me, thought I wanted to be an astronaut. I was like, no, I want to make
close.
I want to make that.
Yeah.
And from that moment, from 9 years old, I have never changed my trajectory. People who know me from the time, and look, it's really weird. Like people have these like ridiculous like amount of friends on Facebook or on Instagram or friends.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when you look at my friends list, I'm actually friends with most of the thousands of people that I'm friends with. I'm actually friends.
Mm-hmm.
And buddies of mine who were in third grade with me when Star Wars came out, they literally will be like, I knew when we were 9 years old you were going to do this. I was like, yeah. Wow. Because there was no other game plan. This was it.
You manifested it.
The what?
You manifested it, even from an early age.
Yes. But here's the thing. Wait. Yes. But wanting it, thinking it, dreaming it is the first part.
Mm-hmm.
The other part is going, okay, so I got to have a waitering job from 11 o'clock at night till 7 in the morning across from a nightclub in New York so that I have enough money to survive and pay to make movies and do the things. And oh, by the way, I'm going to school and I have a job that's a day job at a film studio as well while I'm doing all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody sees that. It's all the hard work that's in the background. Everyone thinks it's just like these opportunities just fall into your lap, but that's obviously not the case at all.
And the other quote, the other quote I always like is there is no option, or they say if you create an option B, it's because you expect option A to fail. If there's no other way, if you don't create a backup plan, you have no choice but to succeed.
Yeah. And look, I tell everybody that I work with, especially my actors, I'm always like, look, you have to have a day job. Like, don't be a Pollyanna about that bullshit. Get a day job. Get a good day job.
Yeah.
Get a day job you like. Because when you walk into a room, you wear that job on you like a coat. And if you fucking hate your job, no one's going to want to talk to you. You bring in that misery with you. I say, but don't get a day job you love. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Because that will become your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It's so, I mean, that's what's crazy is, and I have to tell you, as horror fans, and this, we all came up in the video store days, going to Blockbuster.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Oh,
what's amazing? Yeah, the better days. Yeah, better days. What's amazing thinking about this moment now is I never wanted to be a filmmaker. I was always like a bit of a cinematography nerd.
Sure.
I always wanted to just talk about movies. So I was addicted to bonus features. And I remember going to Blockbuster. I remember renting Jason Goes to Hell. I actually remember, now that I think about it, I remember watching original interviews with you on original bonus features and stuff, you know what I mean? And it's funny because those moments flood back in times like these where we're all standing in the middle of the video aisle and we have it in our hands, and you remember the art, you remember I remember we used to walk across the street to Hollywood Video. Yeah, dude. We used to walk across the street to Hollywood Video and make up lies that my dad this is so fucked up. We used to lie that my dad was disabled, so he couldn't get across the street, so they would let us rent the R-rated movies.
You do what they have to do.
That's just ingenuity.
Yeah, we were like, yeah, my dad said it's good. My dad's in a wheelchair. He can't. And we did that, and they knew because we made up 40 different stories as to why my dad couldn't be there to rent an R-rated movie. But we did that with Jason Goes to Hell. We did that.
Dude, I would have gone so far as to have a buddy of mine punch me in the face so I could just walk into a store and go like, my dad's a drunk and he hit me. That works too.
Yeah.
Nothing's too fucked up enough to not get a copy of Evil Dead 2. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
What I want to ask real quick, did you ever have that introspective moment when you were sitting there, doing anything but Hearts of Darkness, where you were like, holy shit, it's all come so far and now we're here? Or did it all just kind of breeze by with the pandemic and the switch?
No. There was definitely a moment. So we were shooting all these interviews and they're all kind of talking head interviews.
Yeah.
And the subjects are amazing. So you are transported by what they're talking about. But I was like, fuck, we're in trouble. I can't just animate, still frames from Jason Goes to Hell to make that interesting enough to keep this visually interesting for the audience. But, when we made the movie, Sean Cunningham and New Line, but Sean mostly, was such a cheap bastard that he didn't get a behind the scenes crew at any point. There was nobody shooting what we were shooting. So there was no record of it. And I'm like, fuck, I've got no behind the scenes on this movie. And I was talking to Bob Kurtzman, who's one of my closest friends since we made that movie. And he's done almost every single movie I've made with me. And again, you guys probably haven't seen Secret Santa, see Secret Santa. It's the movie I'm the most proud of all of the work that I've done, hands down. And so Bob and I are talking, and I was telling him, like, I'm in trouble. Like, I need some behind the scenes photos. I need something. And he said, we were shooting stuff. I said, what? Yeah. We got like a couple hours of stuff. I'm like, what do you mean stuff? He's like, oh, we shot what happened. I'm like, give me that footage. Let me see the footage. So he says it's hours. I was like, oh my God. He gave the footage to me for $1. He sold it to me for $1. It's in the movie.
Yeah.
But it's the first time I'd ever seen myself directing.
Wow.
Oh, man.
And I made a lot of movies, and I was like, what the fuck? And I'm watching a 23-year-old me. Man, yeah, that was a moment. That was a moment of like, I got it. I suddenly understood what happened to me. Like, I understood why I got that job. I got it because I am standing there, and I am leading that set. I am the captain of that team. And I watch myself doing it, and I'm doing it in a really, like, in a positive way, in a cheerleading way. I am all energy. By the way, I still am to this day.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because that's kind of, from what I understand from everybody we've talked to, it's infectious, and it really did make people want to work harder and do stuff. My effects guy, Tom Bellissimo, on that movie, that guy, we didn't have enough money for Tom Bellissimo. Tom Bellissimo was one of the best in the whole industry. And we got him in as a favor, and he had so much fun working with me that I kept coming up with bullshit. And he kept going, yeah, we could do it. I'm like, and my production manager is like, but we can't afford it. He's like, okay, I got it. It's on the truck. It's fine. And he didn't charge us for any of it.
Wow.
K&B, the effects guys, that movie was made for less than almost all the Paramount movies were made for. We had $2.5 million to make that movie. We had nothing for that film, for that level of film. I had an effect and a stunt on every single day of the shoot. There was not one day off from that stuff. To pull that off on $2.5 million on a 37-day schedule is insane. It's insane, the size of that movie. That I was working with a incredible producer, woman named Vanessa Koifman, who used to run RKO Pictures, and she was bringing me. We were talking about a film that I wanted to make. It's a remake of I Walk with a Zombie.
Nice.
By the way, speaking of being a nerd for cinematographers, Dean Cundy was going to shoot the movie for me.
Wow.
Dean and I got along like a house on fire. I was like, the problem is RKO never makes anything. That's the problem. They set things up. It's still sitting there. It's still sitting on a shelf. But this incredible woman, Vanessa Koifman, was talking to me, and she said, look, Adam, I'm really sorry, but I hate to tell you this, but I think we're only going to have like $5 million to make the movie. And I went, okay. Expecting me to be upset. She's like, well, I mean, come on, you've made much bigger movies. I said, and at this point I had not. And I said, no, I haven't. And she was like, oh, come on, Adam, you made Jason Goes to Hell. Come on. I know. I said, Vanessa, I didn't have more money than that. She says, how much you had? I said, $2.5 million. She goes, you're a fucking liar. Like, to impress me. She said, what'd you have? Like 20 million on that movie? I was like, Vanessa, are you insane? And she starts typing. I can hear her. We're on the phone, and she starts typing. I'm like, you're looking up Studio Tracker, aren't you, to see if I'm bullshitting you? She's like, you're damn right I am. And then she went, and I went,
Yep.
She's like, how the fuck did you do that? I said, yeah, I know. And she goes, wait, I got a bigger question. I was like, okay. She said, how are you not running Hollywood? I was like, yeah, We both ask that a lot.
Still trying to answer that question.
I said because there's this fucking asshat who went on YouTube and made a video how New Line Cinema destroyed the Friday the 13th franchise. That was it, man. That was the fucking atomic bomb in my career. Fucking douche.
Oh my God.
What a douche.
Wow. It's amazing what one man and a camera can do for
nuts.
Everything. You know what I mean?
By the way, hold on to that end. Hold on. I'm gonna do something that I don't do. But it's really, really important. So someone sent this to me the other day, and I'm gonna advertise this young woman because I still can't believe it. There's a YouTube channel called Tara's Never Seen. Tara's Never Seen. Okay. And the name of the video is Jason Goes to HE Double Hockey Sticks is my new favorite. It is a video of her watching the movie and commenting as she's watching it. And I think her husband or boyfriend is the background watching it too. And like laughing his ass off. It is the most joyful thing. This literally just happened a couple days ago. It is the most joyful thing I've ever seen regarding Jason Goes to Hell, because it is someone who never saw the movie. She's seen, she's just watched all the Friday 13th movies in a row, right? This woman's reaction to this film, I'm telling you, like, I've seen Jason Goes to Hell too many. I don't ever need to see that movie again. Watching it with her, I'm like, oh, this is a whole new fucking movie. I mean, it is so funny. Wow. I'm telling you, I was crying with laughter. It's so funny. So I recommend it. Anybody who's watching, check that out, because it's, and again, she's got a tiny little YouTube channel. I'm like, I'm going to give that as much love as I can possibly give.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a new level of appreciation.
Yeah, we need to share that in the chat, because I found the video.
You did? Okay.
Dude, share it, because it's so fucking good. It's so good. And by the way, the reason I bring it up is because, yes, all of this stuff can be used for good. You know how many times I'm watching stuff on social media and I have a list. I literally have a list on my phone, movies I need to see this year. And it's just from people recommending and talking about films. I mean, that's what it should be about. Like, guys, I don't give a fuck what you think about the latest Superman. I don't care. Stop. Like, oh, really? The Snyder fanboys are gonna fucking hate on it? Oh, okay. It's like, what a waste of everybody's fucking time, you know? By the way, I really love the movie too. I loved Superman. I thought it was fucking great. And by the way, if somebody doesn't like it, cool. It didn't work for you. That's great.
Yeah,
but it's this need to like give this fucking hate.
Well, I think it's easier for people to critique and hate. It's always like their criticisms are always very surface level, you know, kind of going off what Chris 100%. Was saying earlier, you know,
100%.
I feel that way every time I post a positive review about a Jess Franco film. I'm like, please just watch it.
Yes. Yes.
People are like, what the fuck are you watching? I'm like, just watch. Just look, don't criticize any of it, man. I'm like, just watch it. Come on.
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more, guys. I really couldn't. I'm so tired of there's a negativism that I think is so ugly. It's just ugly. It just doesn't help anybody, you know?
Yeah. I feel like we have been like Steve Jordan, I feel like we have like a giant affirmation overhead of like what we do now. That's like, okay, we're doing good. You know what I mean? Like we're doing the right. I feel like the light has now shined and we've gotten like our thumbs up and you're like, okay, cool. We can go.
Party. You see pointing at
I will also tell you guys, by the way, you are the first podcast I've been on where, and by the way, that is saying something. Holy fuck. That all of your backgrounds are the same. Like, I love that each one of you it has a wall of nothing but of physical media behind you. I fucking love that.
Oh man,
that means a lot. That's awesome.
There's 17,000 movies in this house.
Oh my god.
Wow.
There's 2,200 back here.
But I put my money where my mouth is, man. Yeah. I buy people's movies. I'm like, you tell me a movie to watch. I'm not gonna be like, okay, can I see it for free on Tubi? No, man. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, but I literally just did that. I literally just, as you were talking to us, you were talking about Secret Santa, and the first thing I did was go on Blu-ray.com and try to see where. I was like, where is? I don't know where it's streaming. I know I can find a German Blu-ray.
It's actually streaming a lot because Screenbox picked it up. The Bloody Disgusting guys have been awesome. But I will tell you this: if you want a copy of that movie, and you should get a copy of that movie because the only place that you can see the documentary Naughty or Nice, the making of Secret Santa, is on the Blu-ray. And it's a feature-length documentary about the making of Secret Santa and about the creation of Skeleton Crew, the company. And it talks, and again, because the movie is a middle finger to family, the documentary is the movie that talks about the family you make is your family. So it's this like yin yang sort of perfect disc.
Nice.
And you can get it at secretsantathemovie.com.
Nope.
/ merch.
Okay.
Somebody actually put it. Someone from the movie den put it in your.
That was me. I when we were talking about it, I was like, okay, I got to find it. So it's in there for everyone.
You're the movie.
It's awesome.
What am I saying? Someone from the movie den. Look at that.
I couldn't.
It's like, hey, I know that guy.
Nobody's ever hired me for my smarts.
I couldn't help but when you were telling when you were talking earlier, I couldn't help but like kind of put together you and Stuart Gordon with the theater background and then getting into filmmaking. I just read his biography, which was incredible, and I never knew how deeply involved he was in theater. To the point I didn't even know he had Organic Theater Company. And then to hear Brian Usna talking about like, hey, when Reanimator came around, we were like, oh, this guy's been directing forever. He can do this. And then he went on to become what he became in film, you know? So I couldn't help but make that correlation. I just had to say
I started teaching when I was 15. I started teaching acting when I was 15. This has been like my life has been this. I mean, every day of it. And I was an actor when I was a kid. And by the time I left for California, I had directed over 75 shows. And most of which were musical theater. So I was a choreographer. I mean, I kind of did all of it, which is hilarious when people go like, they ask me like what my favorite genres are. I'm like, well, horror and musicals. And the original Johnny Zombie, My Boyfriend's Back, was a hard R horror musical. And then Disney got their hands on it and turned it into what they turned it into. But that was not the movie that was intended. So yeah, I'm look, by the way, to anybody out there, and I'm sure a lot of people that watch your podcast, guys, are people who want to make films, want to be filmmakers. And I don't mean want to be, I mean want to be filmmakers. And the thing that I tell people constantly is, look, you want to direct, learn about actors. It doesn't mean you have to be a good actor yourself, but learn about actors, because the best directors, and anyone you look at, whether it's Sidney Lumet, Sidney Pollack, any of the Sydney, it always helps. Any of these guys that are really good at getting performances, they understand the language of acting, right? And you can do that in high school. Like you have to seek it out, and you might have to put up with some bullies acting like assholes because you like theater. But if that's your love, you can learn from there. You can start. There are a million theaters all across the country where you can actually learn your craft before you get in front of it, before you get behind a camera. That said, what I tell everybody, and I was just teaching a master class for the University of Buenos Aires in Argentina. And in that class, I was very specific with them about this. If I had this when I was a kid, oh my God. I mean, oh my God. It's an entire movie studio in your fucking pocket.
Yeah.
And I know it's like somehow a bad thing to take people's excuses away. Fuck that. Getting a trophy for doing nothing but showing up bullshit. If you have a movie studio in your pocket and you want to make a movie, what are you doing? What are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Like, get some friends. I don't care if they're good actors, bad actors, whatever. Get some friends, write a script, and shoot your fucking movie. You can write it, you can shoot it, you can edit it, and you can distribute from this.
Yeah.
That's remarkable. And the number of times I hear people bitching, I need money. No, you don't. You got a phone? You don't need money. Just go make your movie. Don't be an idiot and make a science fiction epic. But and by the way, even on science fiction epic tip, look at the amount of tools that are out there. And by the way, I'm not talking about AI, so nobody jump on that. But the amount of tools that are out there that can help young filmmakers that cost nothing now. I mean, guys, the fact that like Da Vinci exists, it's free. And it's still the single best color timing software there is. It's all there.
Yeah.
You just have to use it. You just have to say, I'm going to do the work to understand this technology and make this happen. I just spent like $2,200 on lenses for this because I know how powerful this tool is. And I was like, okay, how do we make this a cinema camera? Like, how do we make this legit? And by the way, I've shot stuff on a phone that people think I shot in a fucking on a Red. Like, no, it's on an iPhone. It's on an iPhone, jackass.
It's incredible to see how far technology's come,
right?
You know, and it gives everyone the resources if that's something that they actively want to seek out. You know, there's no excuses.
Yep.
Well, it's like an even playing ground too.
Huh?
Yeah, it's like an even playing ground too. I mean, if you own an iPhone and you have an up-to-date iPhone, you're no better. You have no better equipment than I have, or he has, or that guy has.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got cameras in this house that are so expensive I can pay off my fucking mortgage with them. And you know what? You know what? This is just as good. Cut it out. And it's this snobbery around all this stuff. And it's like, you know, look, the problem, it's a blessing and a curse, because what technology has given us is it has given us an even playing field, right? Everybody can play. Everybody can make something. The problem is this. When the Blair Witch Project came out, right? It was at Sundance. And it exploded, right? It was this huge fucking thing. And by the way, I'm sure there's a lot of people who hate that movie. I think that movie's fucking great. I think it's great, right? Simple, great concept, and the best marketing ever afforded a tiny horror film. It's just incredible marketing campaign.
It's like lightning in a bottle for that
100%. And a lot of really smart people. And by the way, I mean, Heather Donahue was a friend of mine and actually took class from me for a while, and she's amazing. She's an incredible person. When that movie came out, the programmers at Sundance were like, look, it's great because it gave us this whole new audience of people that were excited about Sundance, right? Suddenly we had taken this horror movie and made it legitimate. Yeah. The problem is the year before Sundance, we got 10,000 submissions. The year after, we got 100,000. Because suddenly every idiot with a camera ran out back to their woods and made their version of the Blair Witch Project. The difference is this. Everybody has this. Not everybody has the talent to make a movie. And the good news is, if you do have the talent, you have the resources now. And I would only hope that it will be able to, you know, weed out the people that are great and the people that are, no, you should be an accountant. Don't do this. It's just true. You know, look, I am all for people being able to achieve their dreams. That said, you got to be good at it.
Yeah.
Talent is the divider. It's the divider.
Well, speaking of horror films, like what was your gateway horror film?
I was a horror nut from the time I saw the original The Fly on television.
Okay.
Really? Okay.
I love that movie. Because there was something so like visceral about it. The acting is really interesting in that movie. It takes this very silly concept and turns it into something that felt grounded. I just think that's a cool movie. But while I was, feasting on it, look, I saw Rosemary's Baby in a hotel room in Washington, D.C. when I was 6 years old. My parents left my brother and I. This is insane. This is how different the world is.
Yeah.
My parents left my brother and I at in a motel room in Washington, D.C. while they went out and had dinner. And no one was there to watch us. We were literally left alone in a motel room. Two idiots. And a television. And the only thing that we found was Rosemary's Baby. So I watched the movie when I was 6 years old, excuse me.
Yeah.
And I was like terrified and completely in it. Like I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. Scared the shit out of me. And the original Nosferatu and Metropolis were on PBS. And my father had fallen asleep. My dad lived in New York. My mom lived in Connecticut. And we'd fallen asleep. He had this futon bed in his loft. He had one of those lofts that you could ride a bicycle in. It was so huge, like a real industrial loft, Lower East Side. And he had this, we had one big mattress. Me and my brother Kip slept on either side of my dad. And they had fallen asleep with the television on. And we were watching something on PBS, a documentary or something. And I was like 7 or 8. And I sat and watched the original Metropolis followed by Nosferatu. I mean, scarred for life, but
double feature.
Right. But amazing. Yeah. And by the way, funny enough, Metropolis scared me more than Nosferatu. Because if you remember that whole thing with Death coming in with the scythe.
Yeah.
By the way, that's why my company is named Skeleton Crew. Is that image.
Interesting. Okay.
But my gateway. If you're going to tell me like the one that I said, I want to make this, I want to make horror movies, hands down, Dawn of the Dead. Hands down.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Back then, back when in the very early 80s, the late 70s, early 80s, VHS, there was no home market for VHS. It was only for rental houses. So they would charge like $80 to $150 for a tape. And the only places that could afford it were rental houses, right? People didn't buy those. You didn't buy movies. You rented them at best. I heard that Dawn of the Dead was coming out on tape. I took a train into New York City. Specifically, I wasn't even seeing my dad that week. I took a train in. I was maybe 12 I was maybe 13. The video was coming out. I went to New York on the train and went to 47th Street Photo because they had a copy of it in the window for $79.99. And I had saved money for weeks, and I bought that fucking tape. I had a job, so I was able to do it. But I bought that tape. By the way, I just got rid of all my VHS. Like it was too many thousands of boxes of fuck. It was like, it's gotta go. I just didn't have the room for it anymore.
Man, Steve would have bought that from you in a heartbeat.
Oh man,
Steve would have.
Bad timing.
It's the one tape I saved.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's awesome.
I kept that tape. I'm like, no, this one, and it still plays. I've never played it out. It still plays. Dude, that movie, I don't know why, man. It struck a chord in me that meant so much. And George was incredible. Like George, he's an amazing man. I luckily got to meet him. Michael Felsher, our director, was actually George's personal documentarian for the last 15 years of his life.
Yeah.
And that film, there's something so claustrophobic, but also there's like this kind of child fantasy about like living in a mall and it's all yours and all you have to do is block out the Evil Dead. It's like, it's fucking cool. I will also say that the Evil Dead, that's Sam Raimi's Evil Dead. We couldn't see it in theaters when it first came out. We were, it was because movies like that only played like bad neighborhoods, right? They wouldn't play in nice places. So a buddy of mine in the city of Manhattan had gotten a bootleg VHS of it. This was a big deal back then. Like that was, you felt like you had like a dangerous thing. And he gave it to me and I brought it back to Connecticut, and me and my buddy Eric Beatner, who I talked about earlier, the editor, and a bunch of our friends, Dan Lowenstein and some really amazing guys, we all got together and watched it in Dan's basement. And I remember thinking, one, there is pure evil on this tape and I love it. 2, this is how you do it. Like, this is how you can make movies. Because like these guys, they look like they had a bologna sandwich and a ball of twine and they made the movie. They didn't have much more than that. So
it's such a raw movie. Especially just, it's visceral. It's like unfiltered. I don't know. There's just something, especially with the first one. It's just so special.
It's
in a lot of ways. Yeah. Oh, it is. It's meant for like drive-in theaters. I feel like
you watch it and you wonder. It almost gives you the feeling of, should I be watching this? Should this be here? I mean,
I gotta say, I'm actually shocked that the remake, which I'm not a fan of, I like Fede. I think he's talented, but I'm not crazy about that remake because they missed something really important, and it is a difference between horror movies now and horror movies then. Horror movies in the 80s and 90s almost always started with, hey, we're gonna have a party and it's gonna be fucking fun, and we're gonna have sex and do drugs and then a horrible evil stops the party. And in order for people to be able to be happy again, they have to destroy the evil. Otherwise, they're never going to be happy again. They're just going to be dead. When you watch the remake, it signals what's going to happen in all horror, which is, I'm so sad. I'm on drugs. My mother killed herself. My sister killed herself. And when she did, she also killed my parents. And I'm going to go to Sweden and take drugs, but I'm going to be in a really bad relationship. And I'm going to watch people jump off shit and die. And I'm like, oh my God.
I know what you're talking about.
By the way, I'm being funny only using that as an example.
Yeah.
It is nothing but a stream of sadness. Like, I'm like, wait, when did horror movies stop being fun? By the way, you give me a Babadook any day of the week. You give me a Hereditary any day of the week. There's stuff out there that starts really dark and just goes darker. Great. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Once in a while.
Yeah.
But we missed the party thing. That said, I will say I was shocked that they kept the tree rape in the remake. I was shocked. I never thought that would stay, because that tree rape I'm sorry, I'm using the R word and I'm not supposed to. That tree essay. It's like saying the word is somehow going to conjure the thing. Like, what is that? No, aren't we supposed to be able to talk about horrible things so they don't happen?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like, yay. It's like, no, this is awful. That tree scene in the original Evil Dead is so violent and terrifying, and unlike anything anyone had done up till there. Literally no one had done something like that. It was so horrifying. And by the way, I know almost the entire cast of the original Evil Dead. None of them have scars over it. They're fine. They're all good. Everybody's good. They're good. They're very productive, amazing women, and they're extraordinary. There is something about, I love when horror is allowed to show us the unshowable, to say the unsayable. I think that's the most important thing that horror does. I think, look, let's be honest. Night of the Living Dead, which is probably one of the most seminal horror films ever created, and is definitely a inflection point for how our genre would go.
Yeah.
That movie is about Vietnam. That movie is about the civil rights movement. You don't know that, but you get it. Like, you're getting the information, whether you know it or not, because George put a giant scoop of ice cream on the broccoli. So you don't know you're getting your broccoli. You know? I mean, I'm sorry. Dawn of the Dead is about consumerism in America run amok. And he was right.
Yeah.
It's more relevant now than ever.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Dude, and we talk about this all the time. I always joke how I have a Last House on the Left poster in front of me right now, like hanging up. And sometimes people are like, oh, how can you hang that up? I'm like, Last House on the Left, I Spit on Your Grave, Cannibal Holocaust. I'm like, these are movies that genuinely impacted me in a way. Because, I mean, horror was never a genre, I don't think, it was never a fit in genre. It's recently become a genre that's much more like,
now it's cool. Now it's hip. Now people are allowed to do it.
Yeah. But it's funny because when you mentioned the Babadook, I'm not a fan of that movie.
Totally.
And I don't know how, but I remember Jennifer Kent teasing her second movie, The Nightingale. And I was like, okay, I'm very excited for this. It's not going to be the Babadook. There's not going to be an annoying kid running around.
Yeah.
And she has zero sense of levity, because The Nightingale from frame one is the darkest thing I have ever seen.
Unrelenting.
It's probably the most upsetting movie ever shot.
Oh my God, dude. I'm watching it, like, sinking in my seat, and then the baby gets slammed against the wall, and I'm like, we're 10 minutes into this movie.
Literally, Lars Van Trier is like, lighten up, Jennifer.
Yeah.
I mean, it is that movie is so fucking dark. Holy shit. But by the way, here's what I love. First off, what I love about The Nightingale is that the fact that a woman made that movie is such like a kind of fuck you to people who say that women can't make that kind of, like, that they won't go that dark, that they won't be that violent. I mean, she fucking murders a baby on screen right in her first act of the movie, right? Yeah. That is so not what we expect women to do, right? It's like this taboo thing, and she's like, fuck you, I'm doing it. I love that movie can exist. By the way, I totally understand somebody going, I never want to have that experience again. Like, that was horrible. Don't do that to me. I hated it. I totally respect that. But for me, I mean, I love the movie and I love her films. But what I loved about that movie was purely that it got to get made. There's too much of same. By the way, you're literally talking to the guy who said that while making Jason Goes to Hell. It was like, oh my God, are we going to do the same fucking movie, or are we going to do something different?
Did you have that pushes the envelope, you know, for the genre?
Yes. I feel like the most recent time I had that response was when I saw The Substance in theaters. That was the last time I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, this exists in 2025. Like, somebody gave money to this. Like,
and by the way, I tried to hire Coralie actually right before that movie happened. I tried to hire her for our film Fat Camp Massacre. And she said to me, she's like, I love it, but I'm only doing stuff that I write. And I was like, I totally respect that. God bless. She's amazing. We were on tour together when I was, again, with Secret Santa, with her first film, Revenge. Have you guys seen Revenge?
Oh, yeah. Iconic.
I mean, like, anybody who talks about The Substance, I'm like, yeah, great. Have you seen Revenge? Because holy fuck.
Oh my God, that first time I put on Revenge, the moment you have the opening shot and then it zooms out of the glasses, I was like, oh, I'm fucking in. Here we go.
Yeah.
This is it.
What a tour de force for cinematography. Like, oh my God, there's not a bad looking shot in that film. It is gorgeous. The performances are insane. And it is, I mean, for my money, it's what happens when a woman directs I Spit on Your Grave.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is, look, I think she's fucking amazing. It's very funny because I really like The Substance, but I did feel it was like a little pedestrian. I was like, nah, I expect more from her. Like, she's better than that. And again, I love The Substance, and I love that somebody got to do that third act in a film that hit American viewers. That's insane. Yeah. It's so good. I'm like, oh my God. She was like, hey, Cronenberg, hold my beer. It's insane. It's insane. You know, and God bless her.
To have like a body horror get that type of reception and it be more accessible to so many different people. Like, that's what I was surprised about, was the reception it was getting. It's like, yeah, this is a great movie within our circle, but to see all these people that were checking it out and people that are generally not into horror like that was awesome to see.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, like Chris, you had said last time when you went and saw the movie, you know, the crowd that was with you.
Oh, dude, so it was me and my wife. It was opening night. I had, to my left, there was like 3 young guys, and then it was my wife, me, and then the couple next to me. Each of them were like 65 years old, and I was like, I have never. And all of us had the same experience.
Right?
Like, we were all. I remember looking at the people next to me, just being like, "What is?" And then they're having fun down there. I'm like, this is the most mixed crowd I've ever been in my life.
To be in a theater where literally teenage girls are like excited about a body horror movie. I mean, dude, I sat in a theater alone watching Videodrome. Nobody else was in that theater. It was just me. You know, Cronenberg's early stuff, even Scanners, which was a hit. Never see kids in that movie. You never see a teenage girl going like, I can't wait till his head explodes. No one did that. Now, look, when I made Jason Goes to Hell, horror was seen like porn.
Yeah,
we were not respected at all. And when Sean started making porn, he did make porn. Sean actually started by making porn.
He did, he did. And then a kids movie.
Yeah, he discovered Marilyn Chambers, who went to my high school. Yep, not trying to brag. And my best friend growing up, Noel Cunningham, Sean's son, played Marilyn's love child in that movie because he was a baby and Sean knew he could work cheap. But when Sean started making Last House on the Left, or even Friday the 13th, right, after his numerous failures at trying to rip off the Bad News Bears, he was looked at like a pornographer. He really was. And he was making horror. So it's only in like the last decade where people see this as a cash grab, right? Which, by the way, it always was. Horror is the thing. Horror made movies. That's it. The first movies are all horror films. And the movies that built studios are horror films. They don't say Universal's bunnies. It's Universal horror. It's Universal's monsters. That's what built Universal the studio. There's only one studio that was built by dwarves, and that's Disney. The rest of it was built out of RKO Studios. Was nothing but Val Lewton movies. It was Curse of the Cat People, I Walk with a Zombie, all of these amazing films, and it's what built our industry. And we still treat it like we were treating it like the redheaded stepchild. Fuck that. Yeah. And I will say, look, the Blumhouses of the world.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Wait. But this is important. It really is. Look, what they're doing in Blumhouse, good for them. Good for them. Like, I'm sorry. Did it make money? Is it horror? Okay. Is it horror adjacent? Okay. Look, for every time that Blumhouse puts out some neutered PG-13 movie where we're all rolling our eyes, oh, look, a killer swimming pool. Oh my God. For every one of those, they have made a Freaky. Yeah. And you watch Freaky and go, wow, like this takes balls.
Yeah.
And this is hardcore. Like that movie is hardcore. I don't know many of the Friday 13th movies that are as like, oh shit, as that movie. And it's progressive. It's interesting. It's got great performances, well-directed, good music. I'm sorry, great. Like, fuck yeah, dude. So look, the Blumhouses of the world and James Wan and some of these guys have suddenly made horror okay for all of us to enjoy and like have made it acceptable. But by the way, much like I said earlier about being egalitarian with filmmaking, suddenly everybody thinks they can make a horror movie and they all try. And suddenly we've got a dearth of movies out there that you go, really? There's a lot of stuff out there that I think is being made by people who don't give a shit about horror films. They give a shit about money. They want to make money. By the way, I'm not an idiot. It's a business. You got to make money. That said, hire people who know what the fuck they're doing.
100%.
And you get a great movie that I promise you will make you more money. Look, the Terrifier thing, right? So everybody's lost their minds, right? And oh my God, it's making all this money. Fuck yeah. By the way, am I a fan? No, I'm not. I'm not. Because here's the problem. Those movies almost started out at the gate being about the villain, not about the heroes. And if you go back to the origins of all of the franchises that everybody's obsessed with that they won't let die, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw, look at the first two movies of each one of those franchises. I mean, Nightmare has a tough time on that one. But look at the first couple of movies and you go, no, those are scary fucking movies. They were scary. Yeah. We were afraid, right? Because here's the thing. Nobody roots for the shark in Jaws. No one. Because Jaws is the monster. You care about the people on the boat. Yeah. The minute you stop caring about the leads and all you want to see is how gruesome the next murder is going to be.
Or like the body count.
Right. Yep. By the way, that's not a horror movie anymore. Sorry, guys. Now you're on a roller coaster. You're on an amusement park ride that's just about you going, woo! That's all it's about. Because you just want to see like, oh, is he going to tear her head off at the jaw? Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop. Make the movies about good characters and you end up with something that's actually frightening because we're in the van with those kids in Texas Chainsaw. We are. We're in that van. We're scared for them. So when we get to the monster is frightening for us, and that's what made all of these things hits. Now, by the way, on the Terrifier thing, God bless them. Fuck yeah. I love that those movies exist. They don't have to be made for me. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I didn't like most of the torture porn stuff that came out. I don't care.
I was just about to say, Saw franchise, I feel like it's not, I mean, there's definitely a big difference between Nightmare on Elm Street and a franchise like that, where you're just, it's like carnage candy that you're looking at.
Yeah. I mean, look, Saw for me is almost a reaction to Final Destination, right? Yeah. What's the next Rube Goldbergian death we're going to watch? And by the way, fuck yeah. Like, again, whether I like or dislike any of these films doesn't matter. It all helps. Every bit of this makes our genre more alive and vibrant and interesting. But what the studios aren't getting is that the guys who made Terrifier are real horror guys. They live, breathe, eat horror. That's their love. And so they make movies that connect to other horror fans. When they put out Megan 2 and they go, God, why isn't this working? Well, because who are you making it for?
Yeah.
Girls who like Bratz dolls? That's not a horror movie then. I mean, like, what are you doing? I still don't get it. And I get Megan. I get that first movie. I get it. I do. And again, they got good actors. They made it about characters. All good. I just wish that they would hire people who are really good at telling stories that are about something terrifying. And we don't have that all the time.
I just thought about, I love Scream, but saying that just now, I just put together something that I feel like is so genius about that movie that maybe I knew, but I never really thought about it. What that feeling is when that ghost face mask comes off and the reveal is the bad guy are the people you like.
Yeah.
Like you fall in love with, you know what I mean? Like you fall in love with Stu and Bill. And then when it's revealed that they're them, I never it just never came that full circle for me that that's a big change when you're against the villain, but then the villain becomes the people that you loved for 90 minutes.
And by the way, that movie, when that movie came out, I would have dinners with other horror directors. We'd all get together and we would talk about how that movie fucked us because it fucked all of us. We're like, he gave away everything. Like he gave away all the secrets. Like literally the magician told everybody how the magic trick works. And suddenly we were all scrambling to go like, how do we make horror? They know all of our gags. Like they know it. We've told them. You can't say, I'll be right back in a movie. You can't do it anymore. Like you can't unless you're being ironic about it. Like there's so many. It's sort of like when Stanley Kubrick made The Shining. He literally ruined blood. He ruined it. Because how are we gonna do bigger than that? You can't.
Yeah.
You just can't. He hit the mother load. So there are these moments where our genre has to level up and we have to do something more interesting. And by the way, I think if it's from gore and kills, you're missing the point. I still think that, people are watching Jaws to this day. They're going to theaters. They're going to drive-ins. They're watching this thing on lakes with giant screens so they can be in the water while they're watching it. It's fucking crazy. And I love it. It's one of the best movies ever made. But they're watching that movie. They're still screaming. They're still jumping. They're still having an emotional response. There's almost no gore in that movie. There's almost nothing in that movie but suspense and characters that you fucking adore. Dude, one of the greatest movies in cinema history is from that film. And it's not anything anyone ever guesses. Whenever I'm talking about Jaws, and I'm like, stop talking about the fucking shark coming at people. Yes, that's scary. Got it. I love it. It's the best. The best scene in that movie is when Chief Brody is left alone at the dinner table with his youngest son.
Oh, yeah.
And his son is mimicking him. And his wife is watching and she's getting tears in her eyes. And you see this man look at his son. The two of them have this incredible sense of humor. And then he says, give us a kiss. Why? Because I need it. I'm sorry. I got chills.
Yeah.
Guess what? Yeah. I will walk into hell with Chief Brody from that point forward. I will do anything that man needs me to do with him, to be in that boat with him, to get that fucking shark so it doesn't hurt that kid. That's what storytelling is about. It's not about the fucking gore. It's not look, the thing about Jason Goes to Hell, and I'm actually bringing us back to the movie. The thing about that film was that by taking Jason away from the woods, the camp, the hockey mask. Yes, was I upsetting the apple cart? Fuck yeah, I was. Did I also introduce you to a bunch of adult characters, not children? I wasn't. Like these are people who have lives and jobs and a society that they live in. And there has been a fucking serial killer who's killed over 100 people in that area, and no cop ever did anything about it. I'm sorry, you go past 5 people, the feds come in. It's a serial killer. The feds are going to be there, right? And I just kept sitting there as a kid going. By the time we got to part 3, I'm like, where's the police? Where are the cops? I mean, it's New Jersey. It's not Mars, right? And I wanted to tell the story. Look, the first movie, the original Friday the 13th, before all the Jason stuff happened, the first Friday the 13th is about a mother who lost her son. Okay. Jason Goes to Hell, which was supposed to be the final Friday. It's how we advertised it. It's what we all believed. Jason Goes to Hell was supposed to be about a father who finds his daughter. That's why it was constructed that way. That's what I wanted to do. And it was also a movie that was supposed to, one, give you some fucking explanation about how all this bullshit happened. And 2, I wanted you to care about the heroes. Not just the goddamn villain. And look, you don't hear a lot of people talking about specific characters other than Tommy Jarvis in any of the other Friday the 13th movies, right? Every time somebody brings up Jason Goes to Hell, the first thing that I hear is, oh, that Creighton Duke was badass. Well, guys, he's Quint from Jaws. And he was built that way. He literally says, for 500 grand, I'll get you the machete, the mask, the whole damn thing. That's what he says. It's literally a quote from Jaws. It's exactly what Quint says. So we were trying to lead our audience to something that gave them a little more fiber in their diet, but also turn it back into a horror movie. I didn't want you to know who the villain was. By the way, it's so funny. People always tell me like, oh, it's a ripoff of The Hidden. I had not seen The Hidden when I wrote the story for this movie. I had not seen the movie, right? You know what I had seen? The Thing. And it scared the fuck out of me. And I love that movie, and it's a perfect horror film. And Jason Goes to Hell owes more to The Thing than owes to anything else, because I went, no, I want a movie of who goes there. I want to go like, where the fuck is Jason?
The paranoia.
Who's Jason? Right. I wanted to tap into something human. And look, by the way, I gave everybody the Looney Tunes, effects that everybody wants. Like I love that shit. Right. So split girl up the middle. Sorry. I love that, like, people go, well, but there's the head in X. That's pretty awesome. The sleeping bag kill is amazing. Yeah. Okay. Split girl up the middle. She's literally having sex while being drunk being fucked by her boyfriend, while she gets torn into 2 pieces that flop over, and then her boyfriend's head gets crushed by a boot. Really? You're gonna tell me that's not the best kill in the franchise? Fuck yeah.
Look, call me. You might think this like hyperbolic, whatever. That's my favorite kill of all time. That's it. That is even down to the way it's shot. And I remember being younger and getting Crystal Lake Memories, the book, and it had like it had the like frame by frame almost of it,
and then one big shot of it split.
Yeah, talk about like, and I mean, every time I watch Jason Goes to Hell, I feel like I'm still in that scene for like 5 minutes later, and I got to recatch up. I'm like, wait, hold on, all right, we're past that now.
Yeah.
And I was just watching the movie the other day, and I was like, I even love him sitting back and waiting for her to be on top to perfectly do this.
Oh yeah. Here's the thing. The reason that kill is so angry, and it is an angry fucking kill. Was that was not in the movie. That whole sequence was not in the movie. The whole camper scene wasn't in the movie. The original cut did not have any of that material. And the audience that we showed it to, and by the way, one of the people in that audience who was in the focus group at the end of the thing was Peter Brackey. That is not a joke.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Crazy.
Wow.
And he was one of the people who wrote on his card, I want to see more campers getting killed by Crystal Lake. He literally wrote that. I have the comment. Okay. And he was 20, I think. 20 or 21. He was at USC. And we showed it at USC. We were at a theater right by USC. Anyway, so the studio's like, look, we're gonna give you some more money. We want some more want some more kills. They said, come up with something that is so fucking gross and over the top that we have to cut it. I was like, what? They said,
taken aback.
They said, we want something amazing that we can't show in theaters. I was like, but why? They said, trust us. I was like, okay, all right. So I went off to write the thing, but I was pissed because immediately Sean Cunningham was like, see, I told you need sex equals death. And I was like, fuck you, dude. I'm not putting in sex equals death into my movie. I don't agree with you. I think you're fucking wrong. I said, I hate when movies do that. I said, but you know what I will do? I'll do unsafe sex equals death. Cool doing that?
Yeah.
I'll go with that. So why the whole condom thing happens in that scene is because I wouldn't do it any other way. And by the way, it's why we got a great review in the Wall Street Journal. But my whole reaction was, all right. You want me to kill some teenagers? Okay. You want me to kill campers by the lake, getting smoking some weed and not only am I going to do it, I'm going to tell you I'm doing it. I'm going to have the lead of the movie make fun of you for it. I'm actually going to have him say, oh, you're going to Crystal Lake, smoking a little weed, having a little premarital sex and getting slaughtered. I'm literally going to tell the audience that's what we're doing. Yeah. And when I kill her, I am going to tear this human being in half. I'm going to show you the unshowable. By the way, the name of the character was the name of my ex-girlfriend right before I shot the movie.
That's incredible.
By the way, that's a warning. That's a warning to anybody who dates filmmakers, because we do get the last word. We just do. We get to say the last thing. So that's why that kill was so fucking angry, right? So I shoot the thing, and then New Line, of course, has to eviscerate it because the MPAA. By the way, the MPAA turned off the movie during that scene. They turned it off. They stopped watching. And they called us and said, we're not even talking about an NC-17. We're giving you an X right now.
Holy shit.
And we were like, what? Like, we won't even put on Reel 3. Won't even look at it. I'm like, isn't that against the rules of the MPA? No, we don't care. This is disgusting. We're like, we cut over 3 minutes from that movie, guys.
Oh my God.
That movie got fucking torn to pieces. But as the same way that I was about the poster, right? Because I wanted a Drew Struzan-esque poster for Jason Goes to Hell. And New Line said, yeah, okay, kid, that's nice. We understand how to market our movie. We're going to put a giant turd with teeth coming out of a silver hockey mask. I was like, what does that have to do with anything? Just trust us. Just like that, which they were right about. They're 100% right because the poster got banned in 13 places in America. 13 states banned that poster, and they had to put a bar over the duty with teeth. And by the way, it got more people wanting to see the movie. Like, they couldn't have been more right. They were right on the money. They cut down the movie enough that Jason Goes to Hell is the first movie that New Line ever released in an uncut and cut version when they first put the movie out. So everybody who usually would buy one copy of that movie had to buy two. And it became New Line Cinema's biggest VHS and DVD sale of all time.
Wow.
That's the truth of Jason Goes to Hell. So when people talk about the $20 million we made at the box office, which, by the way, on a $2.5 million budget, fuck yeah. We also did way better than Takes Manhattan, which cost way more. But the amount of money that movie made on VHS, holy shit.
Yeah.
That was like a video store staple. Like, I just remembered that the poster, just seeing it at the movie store, or the video store, it was just everywhere. So it's like, that's one of those ones I distinctly remember, like, even as a kid.
And if you got it at Blockbuster, first off, Blockbuster did the grossest thing. They bought the covers for the unrated, and they all had the rated tape in them.
Oh,
because Blockbuster wouldn't show unrated shit. But the one cool thing about the Blockbuster tape is that when you press the side of the tape, the eyes in the turd glowed red.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah. They had a little sensor in them, and they went. I was like, "This is fucking awesome."
Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the name Jason Goes to Hell in itself invokes people wanting to. What is this?
Yep.
Because that name, as opposed to Jason Takes Manhattan, it's whatever. But
it was
Jason
also
Goes to Hell.
It was also cool because Bill and Ted, the second movie in that franchise was not supposed to be Bogus Journey. It was Bill and Ted Go to Hell. That was the original title, and the studio totally wussed out. Like, I still think they fucked themselves with that title, because the second movie is a really good movie, but it didn't make as much money as the first, and I think a lot of it had to do with that they wussed out about how to sell the thing.
Yeah,
New Line was all in, man. Look, here's the thing. When you make a movie for the house that Freddie built, these guys know how to do this. Like, they just get it. And they jumped on that title. They loved it. They freaking loved it. By the way, the original title of the movie, in-house, was Friday the 13th Part 9, The Heart of Darkness.
Oh.
Which is why the documentary is called Hearts of Darkness. And the reason it was called The Heart of Darkness, the reason, is an incredibly pretentious film school thing. Because I was a very pretentious film school student. I was 23 when I was making this movie. My hero, one of my heroes, is Orson Welles. And Orson Welles had left the Mercury Theater, the where he did his musicals and he did his Shakespeare plays in New York. He left that to go to Hollywood and make his first feature film, which was going to be an adaptation of Joseph Campbell's The Heart of Darkness. So since I was making a movie about a dark heart and I was 23 years old, just like Orson Welles was, that's why it was called Heart of Darkness. So so that is the silliest reason to name a movie, but it's why I did it. And I will also tell you, and it's an Easter egg that most people don't find in my movies, every film that I've made, someone has the surname Parker. And my brother has it in this movie, Officer Randy Parker. It is my nod to my favorite filmmaker, Alan Parker.
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
It's in
Clever.
every movie. Yep. So there's Sheriff Landis. There's I try to throw in a bunch, but Parker has been consistent in everything every screenplay, everything I've ever written. Parker, a Parker exists, and I found a way in sort of like my own head to make all of them relatives.
Yeah.
So cool.
You talk about nods and stuff, because obviously I think everyone knows the Necronomicon's in Jason Goes to Hell. Was that, and the dagger and stuff, was that just a nod, or did you in the kind of back of your mind, like, I would love to, like, let's see where this leads. Let's see if we can.
Here's okay. So the shortest version of that story is that, look, I told you guys how much I loved Evil Dead as a kid, and it was several. And Evil Dead 2 was the first movie I had ever seen twice in a theater on the same day. I went to see the first matinee show of it in Manhattan. It was my sophomore year of college. Went to see it at noon. Went back to my dorm room. Told one of my best buds at college, a guy named John Jarrell, who's also written a lot of movies. I told him about the movie. He was like, "That sounds fucking awesome." He said, "We should go see it." I said, "Dude, I just saw it." He said, "I'll pay for your ticket." I said, "Fuck it, let's go."
Yeah, why not?
And I saw it a second time in a row on the same day. So I adore those movies. And I'm a huge Sam Raimi fan. And I anyway. So when I was coming up with Jason Goes to Hell, part of the thing that I wanted to do, I hated the timeline as a kid, because when you're there for the making of the original film, which has little to do with a guy named Jason, and the guy that you look to as like a creative father, which was Sean Cunningham at the time, when he's furious that Paramount wants to make a sequel, but they don't want to do what he wanted to do, which was he wanted to do, look, anything John Carpenter ever came up with, Sean was thrilled to rip off. So when John made Halloween, he wanted to tell tales of Halloween. He didn't want to tell Michael Myers movies, right? Akkad wanted Michael Myers movies, and I get why, and look what happened.
Yeah.
But John hated it. It's why Halloween 3 is the only actual John Carpenter sequel to the original Halloween. It's the only one.
My second favorite Halloween movie too.
Yeah.
My second favorite. Yep.
Well done. And again, I know a lot of times people call Jason Goes to Hell the Halloween 3 of the franchise. And I'm happy to take it. But it's the one that John believed in. It's why the movie Halloween is playing on a television in Halloween 3. He's literally saying, this Michael Myers stuff is bullshit. I wanted to make these movies, scary tales about Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
So Sean wanted to tell stories of the unluckiest day in the year. By the way, want to hear something fucked up about that?
Yeah.
His son Noel was born on June 13th, Friday the 13th, June.
Oh man.
Whoa.
We had Noel's birthday party at Noel's house on June 13th, 1980. And we showed the movie before anybody could get it on tape. It was in theaters. We showed the movie to all our friends who were 11 at the time and scarred them for fucking life. By the way, Noel and I hid behind the couch for the ending, and we both jumped up and grabbed everybody on the couch when Ari jumps up and grabs Alice. And our friends, literally, one kid peed himself. Actually,
oh my God.
It was the greatest prank I've ever pulled in my life. Anyway, so I hated that from Friday the 13th Part 1 to Friday the 13th Part 2, which, by the way, take place a couple of weeks apart, the opening, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That Jason Voorhees, a little boy, an 11-year-old corpse from the lake that jumped up at the end of the movie, that this kid gained 140 pounds of weight, learned how to read, because the only way you can find somebody is through the white pages back then. So he found where she lives. He learned how to drive, because I don't think Sackhead was walking through Crystal Lake to get to this woman's house. And he needed somewhere to put mom's head, right? Otherwise, he's just carrying a head with him, right? And he brought Alice's body back to the camp. So he had to have some way to transport it, right? So now he's a full-grown man. He's driving, he's reading, and he has an incredible sense of humor, because he doesn't just go into Alice's house and kill her. No. He hides her head in the fridge, and he hides and he waits. I can't wait till she opens the fridge. This is going to be hilarious. When I say it like that, you go, oh. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah. That doesn't make sense, because it doesn't fucking make sense.
He's also got on a nice pair of boots and nice jeans.
He looks he looks like he literally walked out of an Abercrombie and Fitch catalog. He's fantastic. But wait, by Part 3, he gets the fucking hockey mask, and he's killed like 7 times, but somehow lives. In Part 4, he finally gets the hatchet to the head. But by the way, people forget, Corey Feldman then took the machete and cut and cut and cut and cut and cut. That guy doesn't have a head anymore. There's no head anymore. Part 5, there is no Jason. There's a guy named Roy who dresses like Jason and has a picture of Jason Voorhees with full regalia in his wallet. What photographer took that picture? By Part 6, we resurrect him. And by the way, Part 6 is hands down my favorite of the franchise. I fucking adore Part 6. Yeah. And 6, 2, and then mine. That's my order.
Okay.
I love 6. But here's the problem with 6. He's still got a head. He's got a head.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have a head anymore. Corey cut the fucking head off and chopped it into hamburger meat. Why is there still a head? Okay. Then he gets resurrected a la Frankenstein's monster, because Tommy McLaughlin loves the Universal Monsters and he's a fucking genius. Tommy is a good friend. He's amazing. By Part 7, they're so out of ideas. They go, I don't know, let him fight Carrie. Put Carrie in the movie. By Part 8, they're like, oh shit, man. Well, all right. The worst city in the world. We'll make the baddest guy in the world go up against the baddest city in the world. Jason versus New York. We can't afford to go to New York. Okay, we'll go to Montreal. We can't afford more than a couple days in Montreal. Okay, he'll be on a boat from New Jersey to New York. That's a 3-minute ride.
I would say he probably took the ferry from Newark, went over, you know.
Literally 20 minutes. 20 minutes. That's the ride. Okay. So when we get to Jason Goes to Hell, I went, okay, none of this makes sense. How do we make it make sense? How? Well, let's see. If Pamela would do anything to have her son back, if that's everything that she cares about, that's her whole world. Okay. Wouldn't she eventually look to the dark arts? Because she was nuts. I mean, the woman was clearly insane. Right? She can't read from the Necronomicon. Why wouldn't she read from the Book of the Dead? It can resurrect people. That's in there. By the way, there's not one Book of the Dead. I know that people are like, there's only one in the cabin in the fuck off. There's a lot of Necronomicons.
Yeah.
So wouldn't Pamela read from it? And now imagine that kid, that poor little boy, dead under years of sediment and muck and leaves and all of it at the bottom of Crystal Lake. And he looks up and all he can see is some light during the day and dark at night, but he's terrified. He's in this freezing cold, terrified, stuck there. And then he sees his mama by the side of the lake. And he starts to rise up. Oh my God, it's my mom. It's my mom. And then Alice cuts her fucking head off right in front of him. Well, shit. I'd be pretty pissed. I'd probably come to the surface of the lake and try to pull her down, which he does. But now he is now part of the Evil Dead lore. Well, here's the thing. If he's furious enough, if he's angry enough, if he is truly Hell's assassin, he can gain 140 pounds of body weight. He can read. He can learn how to drive a car. I buy all that shit now. Yeah. Now he's part of Evil Dead. Now he's, and by the way, for people who are like, well, he, you know, a Deadite, the rules of a Deadite, I'm like, fuck yourself. He's a revenant. He's a revenant.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Problem solved. It's in the Book of the Dead. Go for it. It's part of Sam Raimi's lore. Okay. Yeah. And here's the other part. When I came up with all of this, I knew I couldn't say the Evil Dead because New Line didn't own it. So I'm like, all right, I'm kind of fucked. I can't announce this. But people are too stupid to notice that I'm actually putting the Evil Dead squarely in the Friday the 13th franchise as I'm doing it. And I kind of shut my mouth about it, except that I wanted props. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have the Book of the Dead. No, why don't we make that look like the Kandarian dagger? I think that'd be good. And nobody is catching on except my production designer, who I'm talking about this with. And I'm saying, listen, I don't want anybody to know I'm doing this because I could get in trouble. But if I just do it, no, I know nothing about no legal problems. So I then asked Bob Kurtzman, who was at that moment shooting Army of Darkness. I say, hey, can I come with you? Can I go out to the set? Like, I'd love to meet Sam. He's like, sure, that'd be awesome. Why don't you come out for a couple days? Because they were out really far out in the desert at the, you know, they built that castle. And so I go out there. I'm with K&B for like 3 days. I was out there. I even got to puppeteer some of the Deadites in one of the scenes.
That's so cool.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
It was amazing. And I got to talk to Sam. And I asked him if I could have the book. And he was like, sure, buddy. And he put the book in a Ziploc bag. And Bob handed it to me out of a Ziploc. That's literally that. And he's just like, yeah, he just wants it back when you're done. I'm like, okay. And we
just
shot
like
the fucker.
that.
Just like that. That's crazy. Just like that. And by the way, I also shadowed Sam on 3 commercials that he shot after that because I wanted to see his directing style.
Yeah.
I watched him do a bunch of Taco Bell commercials that were insane. And so that's why Sam gave me the book, because he thought like what I came up with was cool. Like it was fun. And he's a fanboy like the rest of us. Like he loves this shit. Right. So suddenly he was part of the Friday the 13th franchise. He was all in. I don't understand people who react negatively to this. I don't get it. And it's, by the way, it's the same guys who are like, what is this? The only reason he got the job for Jason Goes to Hell is because he was best friend with Sean's son, Marty McFly says. No, that's actually not true. And that's okay. That's cool. Whoever told you that is full of shit, and it's not how it happened. It's not how it happened. Sean Cunningham doesn't give candy to, the size of a movie budget to his son's friends. I was I won Best Picture at NYU. I set up a motion picture that made Sean an insane amount of money at Disney. And I was a really good filmmaker, and I knew how to write. So that's why I got the job. I worked for Sean for a couple of years before I got the job, and I made him a ton of money. So Marty, that's why. So, but again, you know, I know that story floats out there that somehow I'm like a weird Nepo baby who wasn't born into Sean's family, but somehow I'm a Nepo baby. But that's not actually what happened. So, and by the way, if you hate the movie, that's cool. I get it. That's all good. The movie, no movie is made for everybody. So that's awesome. That said, I don't understand the guys who are pissed about the hockey mask, but they're furious that I brought the Evil Dead franchise in when they get, Jason Goes to Hell is a steaming pile of shit. Awesome. Since when does Jason have a sister? When did he start body hopping? Who the hell is Creighton Douche? We've never even heard of this guy. Okay, cool. Awesome.
Man, Marty McFly. Man, Marty.
Yeah.
I came back from the future with an attitude.
Yeah, no, Marty's a little
got an axe to grind.
And by the way, listen, Marty, I get it, man. You don't dig it. That's cool. Like, that's fine. That's awesome. I would love to see where you work and what you do, because I'd love to come and criticize it. That'd be awesome. I would really dig doing that. So let me know, and I'll come and hang out at your work and watch you, and I'll critique your stuff. Yes.
I have to ask, so were you like kind of surprised like Sam Raimi was so like kind of blasé about having access to the Necronomicon, or like I mean, was that the reaction you were expecting with it?
No, I was not expecting it. Sam's cool.
Yeah.
You know,
he grew up, him and Bruce Campbell are from Royal Oak, so it's like not even 20 minutes from where I live. So I think that's like why I always have that affinity for the Evil Dead films as a result. But I'd always wondered that. It's just it's cool that it's built out the lore so much more with that.
Sam was as cool as I thought Sam would be. You know, I just feel like I was very lucky to have a makeup artist who was so close with Sam at that point, because Bob had worked on Evil Dead 2 as well. Before Kane B existed. And I think Bob went to Sam and said, "This guy's fucking badass, and I'm excited we're gonna make this movie together."
It's incredible.
Was like excited. And so I think Sam got really into the idea of crossing genres, you know, not crossing genres, crossing franchises. And again, look, remember the Wildstorm comics of Freddy versus Jason versus Ash?
Oh yeah.
Like, again, there's a nerdiness to it that's kind of, I don't know, man. Like, aren't we supposed to love all that shit? Look, when I was a little kid, I was a Scooby-Doo fan, like all kids.
Yeah. And
when Batman was on Scooby-Doo, my 6-year-old brain was broken. Like, I was like, oh my God, Scooby-Doo knows Batman? Like, that was the most badass thing I'd ever heard.
It's like the crossover you always ask for.
Right, right. And by the way, sorry, Marty keeps coming up and he just keeps shit talking, which is hilarious. By the way, Marty, what's your real name? What's your name? Like, you want to say all this? That's cool, but tell me who you are. I'm giving you my name. Give me yours, man. Yeah. This is what I'm saying about hiding. It's the hiding. It's like, come on, man. I got it. You don't like the movie. Cool. It is an opportunity for us to geek out. And I think that, look, the other part of it, and I think a lot of filmmakers that you talk to will give you the same thing.
Yeah.
Is there is a certain amount of we have to give nods to the people that came before us.
Absolutely.
You know? So I never have a problem saying, oh yeah, you know, I'm honoring John Carpenter in that moment. Like I'm doing in Secret Santa, there was literally a line lifted from the thing. It's the exact line. And it's there to show my love. Now, by the way, there was someone who was like, "Oh, he's stealing from." I'm like, "I'm not stealing, you imbecile. I know what I'm doing. It's not like I went, oh, no one will notice that I use this line. It's one of the most iconic lines from the movie. I'm doing it to show that I love,
of course,
that I love Carpenter, that I love his work, and that none of us get here on our own. Like we all have influences and people that make us, I think, better at our jobs."
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's funny you say that because we were talking about Eli Roth's Master of Horror. I'm sorry, his oh my god, History of Horror podcast, and he had I think it was Eli Roth was on. He was saying how it actually took him years to look back at Cabin Fever to realize how much he was like ripping off Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Sure,
he's like you just don't realize like how much you bring into that, and it's and I mean, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
100%.
There's rarely an original idea anymore, and it's not stealing it, it's giving credit where credit's due and saying thank you. You know,
look, he used the music from Last House on the Left, in Cabin Fever, and again, like, yeah, good on you, man. Like, let's celebrate these fuckers. Like, these. By the way, you know how few people today know the people who created our genre, who really created. I'm not talking about the George Romeros. I'm talking about smaller filmmakers with smaller films that influence. Look, you brought Cannibal Holocaust earlier. It's one of Spielberg's favorites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's wild. I
mean, that says a lot, right? You watch that movie, you're like, God, this is like nuts, right? Mm-hmm. Like, why would this is disgusting and crazy? But it's so well made. It was so well made that they sued the guy. Like they threw him in prison.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It's nuts. So look, I think that I think it's fine to homage anybody in a movie, as long as you're being upfront about it. And I never hid any of the homages. I wouldn't. Why would I?
Well, I was going to say, because I know you mentioned The Thing earlier, but outside of that, were there specific body horror films or like directors outside of maybe Cronenberg, for example, that influenced your vision? Maybe lesser known movies, maybe, or maybe ones that we might not be aware of.
Well, I will tell you, look, Cronenberg was definitely a huge influence on me, and remains to this day a huge influence on me. I mentioned earlier, I did a Cabin Fever movie with my wife, with Deborah. We wrote this Cabin Fever. They were going to do 2 sequels, and one of them, Cabin Fever Patient Zero, with Sean Astin, and ours was Cabin Fever Outbreak. But the company that made the first one went under, right? So they paid us for a movie, which was lovely.
Yeah,
we wrote a movie, which was lovely, and then they just didn't make the movie. We made a movie that is one part Lucio Fulci zombie, one part David Cronenberg's That Came From Within.
That's incredible.
And it is this like I wanted to take the Cabin Fever disease in a direction that sexualized it, that made it not only that it was sexually transmitted, but that it actually sexualized the person who had it, so they were ravenous to have sex, much like They Came From Within.
Yeah.
And so it was set in the Dominican Republic. We had an island we were actually going to shoot on. We had a beautiful resort, and on the other side of the island, miles away through jungle, was this little shanty town. And the idea was that all of the people who work at the serving all of these rich people at this resort are all living in squalor on the other side of the island, right? And that's where the disease is, right? So they bring a doctor and his team in to deal with the people who are sick, and things go horribly wrong, and they get to the resort.
Oh, man.
And the movie is this doctor has his kids at the resort because he's leaving them there while he's during the day helping these people. And when suddenly that thing hits the resort, this guy's got to get his kids out and save his children. So it became the movie. That's what the movie's about, is this doctor saving his kids. But it was so sexualized that at one point they wanted me to direct the movie. I didn't want to direct the movie. They wanted me to direct it. And the reason I didn't want to do it is because it was going to be the 3rd movie ever made in the Dominican Republic. And I was like, I'm not going to be a guinea pig. Like, that's new.
Yeah.
No, I know how that movie goes.
Yeah.
And so, but they kept on me about it, right? They like wouldn't stop. So finally, I called my agent and I said, look, I said, they will not stop with me. So why don't we do this? I'm going to write my director's vision. I'm going to write my letter of what I think this movie should be. I said, either they're going to run for the hills screaming, or they're going to let me make the coolest horror movie ever made. And my agent was like, go for it. I love it. So I wrote a letter basically saying how I would make the movie. And then I put in several roles in the film and the adult film actors that I think would be good to play those parts. Because I said, I think it should be the first horror movie with full penetration. I want to go fully X on this movie. Let's go X. Let's do it. Let's really make this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't ask me again to direct the movie.
Yes, how did that one go?
And I got to tell you, but here's what's amazing. My agent, who was the most buttoned up, lovely woman you've ever seen. Like, she looks like someone who runs the PTA, but she handles almost primarily horror people. She said to me, she goes, damn it, I really want to see that movie. I was like, oh, I love you so much. It's like so good for my heart. So yeah. But again, so yeah, Cronenberg is a huge influence on me. I also, this is actually really interesting. So, and to that end, the compound fracture, Adam Craner's compound fracture, when the bones come up out of his arm, ward, that's straight out of The Fly. I mean, that's simply because I love that scene with the arm wrestle. It's fucking awful.
Gnarly.
And to that end, look, I think, have any of you guys ever seen the movie Brubaker, Robert Redford movie? It's actually sort of the first time that Morgan Freeman had a really significant role in a major studio picture. It's an incredible movie. I recommend it. Really recommend it. Pat Conroy wrote the book. And it's a true story of a warden in a southern prison. And he went into the prison as a prisoner. He faked it. He faked being a prisoner to actually see how the prison handled their prisoners. And midway through the movie, he reveals, I'm the actual warden, dumbasses, to these guys who are hurting these prisoners, who are being horrible. Anyway, there's a scene in the movie where David Keith, not Keith David, but David Keith, the white one, he gets this piece of wood, like a huge splinter, but it goes into his palm. And there's like a close up. Aha, right. There's the reaction. And it goes right into his palm. And you go like, I remember as a kid, like a little kid, I was like, ow, oh God. That never left me. Because here's the thing. People understand what that feels like. When you do a chainsaw through someone's body, nobody knows what the fuck that feels like. Because if that happens, you're dead. So you're not going to tell anybody, oh, that hurt. Okay.
Yeah, true.
You get a splinter, your nail gets ripped off. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Right? Again, The Fly, right? The minute Jeff Goldblum starts pulling off those nails, the audience lost their fucking minds, right?
Teeth coming out.
But it's personal violence. It's things that are so small. You see someone on screen get a paper cut, you wince. There's no way not to wince. You're going, fuck, right?
Yeah.
To me, I always try to kind of look at that when we're designing stuff and when I'm trying to do this kind of stuff. I think the melting man in Jason Goes to Hell, which definitely owes a lot to RoboCop, because
oh hell yeah,
they're the OG melting man, Paul McCann. There is something about that scene. I love that scene because Andy Block is such a good actor. He's so good that you feel his agony. And this idea that Jason's spirit is so toxic that once it's finished with you, once it's no longer a part of you, it leaves this trail of bones and goo. It makes you melt from the inside. And for me, that was a really important thing. The other thing, and I discussed this slightly in the movie, but I've learned more about it over the last few years. So I told you earlier, I don't drink or do drugs.
Yeah.
And part of the reason for that, I've learned, is that I'm a bit of a control freak, and there's something about being out of control. And I watched, my family and my friends as I grew up, like acting like fucking morons, which was fun for me.
Yeah.
Like that was always hilarious.
Yeah.
But I just was like, I don't want to, I'm good. And I've never had a problem having fun at a party. So I'm cool. I'm good.
Yeah.
There was something about inebriating yourself that freaked me out a little bit, but it really comes down to loss of self, which is why I love The Thing so much, right? Like what happens when you're in there, but you're not the one driving the ship? Like I had a very close friend, an incredible woman named Stacy Title. I'm sure you guys would know some of her work. But she was married to a guy named Jonathan Penner, who's still one of my close friends. And Jonathan was in Jason Goes to Hell. He got cut out, but his scenes are usually shown in the TV version, and there you can see him on the Blu-ray. He plays David, Vicky's boyfriend, and he gets smashed into a faucet. His whole face caves in a faucet. But he was originally supposed to play Stephen Freeman.
Oh. And
when we had that little break in production, that 2 weeks, we lost him because he had another film that he had been assigned to for another, that our dates coincided. He couldn't do it. So I said, look, can you do a day on the movie? Anyway, he did, and he was awesome. He's also he's been on Survivor more than any other human being. So he's done more days on the show Survivor than the other contestant in the run of he's done like 7 seasons or something. Wow. Anyway, so he's amazing. Him and I became close friends, and his wife, Stacy Title, this absolutely incredible director. She died a couple of years ago from ALS.
Oof.
Here's the thing about that scene with Andy, and about this idea of people not being able to control the ship. There is nothing, and I hope everybody who's watching, will then run and go donate to an ALS foundation. There's nothing more terrifying, guys. That is the scariest shit that you can. I watched this vibrant, extraordinary, brilliant director get caged in her own body. I've never seen anything like it. Scared me to my core. And so for me, there was a certain amount of, you have to bring the experience of your life into filmmaking. I think there's too many filmmakers who make movies about other movies. The best movies are made by people who live a really cool life. David Cronenberg is a really interesting, cool guy because he's lived this incredible life. Werner Herzog always talks about, like, yes, you have to have day jobs to make money in order to make movies, but don't let those day jobs be sitting, in an office pushing paper. Go clean a sewer, go work in a hospital, work in places that give you a dearth of knowledge about the world and about like shit that goes on.
Yeah.
Because that informs film more than anything else. That's it. My favorite directors are Alan Parker, who I mentioned earlier, and my favorite film is made by one of my favorite directors. My favorite film is All That Jazz.
Okay.
And if you have not seen All That Jazz, I recommend it. You should see it. It's an incredible movie. It's also an autobiography from a filmmaker who's very brave and actually predicted his own death. And there's an open heart surgery in the movie that is real. Wow. You actually watch a chest broken open, and you actually see an open heart surgery played, as part of the character's life in the movie. But it's an actual surgery. It's incredible. It's incredible. The movie was nominated for every fucking award. Roy Scheider is the lead. He's brilliant. He's never been better. It's an amazing movie. But I will tell you, that film, you will see more influence from that and The Thing than almost anything else in my work. Those are the movies. Those are the movies. Wow. Yeah.
Impactful.
Yeah. It's funny what you were saying earlier about just want to go back to the Splinter thing real quick. I remember I love Alexandra Aja's Hills of Eyes remake.
Yep.
I actually think it's better than Wes Craven's, but it's,
Yeah. I get it.
of all the shit that happens in that movie, the one scene that sticks with me is when he's fighting Jupiter and the axe cuts off just the tap of his fingers, and there's the shot of him pulling his hand away.
Yep.
I don't wince at somebody burning in a tree. I don't wince at the SA scene. I can watch a bird get its head bit off. When those fingers separate, the little tiny tip of his finger, I was like, oh, that's it. All right, too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels real. It feels real. And horror that gets a fish hook in us about that stuff. Look, speaking of fish hooks, those great close-ups in the original Hellraiser, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yep.
I mean, there is nothing that hurts more than watching that fish hook go through skin. That's fucking hideous.
Mm-hmm.
And it hurts. It actually, and I think violence in movies should hurt.
Yeah.
It should hurt, man.
My wife can't watch The Beyond because of the beginning, the whipping.
Sure.
That's like, oh, that's gnarly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So gnarly.
No, we look, if you, I don't know, are you guys all fans of The Godfather, the original?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Awesome. I would probably just stop recording. I would just hang up on you. But the thing about The Godfather, watch the deaths in that movie. Specifically, they are ugly. People fall funny.
Mm-hmm.
There's like there's a twistedness to the way Coppola shot all the deaths in that movie. They are fucking ugly, and they hurt. You know, and there's something to that. I think that has power to it. I hate when something is done just for effect. It's got to have some weight to it so that we actually feel something. You know?
Yeah, I also think of Scorsese as well with that same thing, like just impactful violence. You know what I mean? Like Casino. You know, there's so much. I mean, I think Casino arguably has like one of the scariest non-horror deaths ever. You know what I mean? In the field.
It's fucking awful, dude. It's awful.
Yeah,
it's awful. Yeah. It's also to a guy that you like so much, even though he's such a piece of shit. You like that guy so much that you're like, oh man, and that they're doing it to his brother first, and he's like whimpering for his brother. I mean, it's God, that scene.
Yeah,
Jesus, that is
sound design. There's something about the sound design in that scene that's just like so uncomfortable sitting through that. You hear the dirt being dumped on them and the bats hitting them.
That thunk. It sounds like it's really hitting someone in the fucking head. It's awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
I want to ask something a little bit more technical about Jason Goes to Hell. Did you? So one thing I noticed in your commentary was talking about bringing like an artistic value of filmmaker like style to the Friday 13th franchise.
Sure.
Are you, and specifically when you were talking about the beginning, like during the opening credits, are you a storyboarder or are you a more like in the moment figure out like how do you approach working with your DP and shooting it, like those beginning scenes in the I guess it's like a mortuary, like I don't know what the technical
the morgue.
It's
the morgue. It's the FBI morgue in Youngstown, Ohio.
Yeah, like the transition of like dark onto now we see the body parts and then we fade back into dark and then the credits and like is that all storyboarded?
No, that was not boarded. That was, but I had the whole sequence in my head, so everything was. I knew exactly how that was going to go, and my DP Bill Dill, who is still very close friend, and he's an amazing cinematographer. Bill and we went through every one of those transitions. You know, I mean, look. Remember, Richard Gant had to pull that heart and then put the heart back to go into black. I mean, that was a lot of choreography to make that sequence work. Of course, Sean Cunningham was like, "What are you doing? I don't understand any of this." I'm like, "I'm sorry, it's artistic. I'm sorry. Forgive me."
He's like establishing shot, close up, establishing.
He literally would look at me every couple of days and just go, "Fucking film school." He was a delight. That stuff was very much in my head. Look, the whole movie was in my head before we shot it. I will tell you, the ending sequence was boarded, and it was boarded by this incredible guy named Jeffrey Lynch, who actually was a director for The Simpsons at the time. He was great. He was great before The Simpsons had exploded quite as big as being, but it was still pretty awesome. And so we boarded that whole sequence, and the boards were beautiful. He did an incredible job on them. But look, I think sometimes storyboards end up locking a filmmaker into an idea rather than being open to what happens in the moment. I will tell you, Jason Goes to Hell is the only Friday the 13th movie where there was weeks of rehearsal with my actors before we shot a frame of film. Because I think that I think if you care about your movie, the colors we paint with are the actors' performances. If you don't understand those colors, you're fucked. I just feel like you're lost. And so for me, I always work my cast a lot before we go to set. One, it makes everything go quicker because everybody's on the same page, ready to rock. But two, you learn shit. I mean, for example, you know, you think I'm funny? What am I, a fucking clown in Goodfellas?
Oh yeah.
That came out of rehearsal.
Yeah.
That, you know, that every word of it was written down. It wasn't in the moment, the improv. That's bullshit. That's not the way Marty works. It was worked on and rehearsed with improv. And then they went, oh, this is fucking great. And they started writing out what Pesci was doing. So Nick Pileggi, who's, you know, fucking incredible screenwriter and writer, and Martin Scorsese know how to make a movie. And they sat there with their cast, letting the free flow happen, letting those moments happen. When it comes to the cinematography of it, look, I don't want my DP to be surprised by something. Like, I'm not going to do something that makes him go, oh, fuck, that's going to take an hour to turn the lights around. That's a nightmare. Like, I will never do that. But you have to have a DP who is willing to improv with you a little bit, because you might end up finding shit that's really exciting in the moment. And you can't be so rigid about, well, it's not on the boards. Fuck the boards. By the way, good to have the boards to start with. I'm not saying, listen, storyboards are incredibly powerful, but they can't lock you in, because if you get locked in, you're making a comic book. You're not making a movie.
Because the other shot I go to too is the tent scene again. When it cuts to the shot of the actual split, and then the camera comes in on his face, and I'm like, oh my god, because I'm a visual. Like I'll pay attention to everything, but I love watching how the camera moves. How is it panning? How's the editing? You know, flowing together. How's everything? So with Jason Goes to Hell, I really admire just your approach to directing it, but also there's like such a crazy jump from like Friday the 13th franchise as a whole. Like I know Tom McLaughlin with I think Friday the 13th Part 6 is really well directed. Like
beautifully directed.
But like it's like that and Jason Goes to Hell are separate from the rest of the franchise artistically.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
So
thank you. I just had to, you know, because I think like Marcus Nispel also brought a certain artistic style to the remake as well. But yeah, I had to ask. I was really curious about that.
No, dude, and I really appreciate that. I think it comes down to I would not let the producers hire anybody before I met them and talked with them. And by the way, this goes to this very day. I don't hire people unless I'm the gate that I have to hold the gate to let people in. And the reason is that I want people to be honest about how they feel about the movie. When people read a script and they don't really like the script, they're like, well, it's a job. I don't want you to work on my movie. I'm good. I'm good. There's lots of jobs. I'm not making something that's a widget. I'm making something that I hope has some artistic value. I want it to make money and I want it to be commercial. But I think I can't make things if I don't get to be an artist a little bit. And so for me, every person that I met with on Jason Goes to Hell had read the script, talked to me about the script, knew what we were doing and why we were doing it. The first time I met Bill Dill, he came in as a favor to his agent, who I was a friend with.
Yeah.
And he came in to meet with me, but was like, I'm not doing a fucking Friday the 13th movie. That's not happening. And he had just finished The Five Heartbeats for Robert Townsend, which is a terrific movie. And he was about to go shoot the Jackson miniseries about Michael Jackson and his family for ABC, which was a huge job. Huge. Yeah. So Bill was coming in to meet me as a favor. He came in, sat down with me. It was supposed to be a 20-minute meeting. We sat there for 3 hours. And we ended up talking about The Magnificent Ambersons, the Orson Welles movie, and how we were going to use it in Jason Goes to Hell. And there are literally shots that are right from The Magnificent Ambersons in Jason Goes to Hell. that we lit exactly the same way, that there's an eye light that we use throughout the film that's very important in the movie that shows you when Jason's there and when he's not. We did all this stuff, and it was all based in things like the magnificent fucking Ambersons from the 40s, right? When you have that kind of dialogue that happens with people, it's undeniable. You all come from the same base level of saying, look, we're going to make a populist movie, but we understand cinema and we have all of our references lock in check. And look, you want to, when you cast a movie, when you crew a movie, you are deciding who you're going to go camping with for the next 3 months. Camping sucks. It's uncomfortable. Like there's like camping. But by the way, that's the job.
Yeah.
So all right, if camping is not so comfortable, people drive you crazy pretty quickly camping. Well, you got to go, all right, I got to live with you for 3 months in the wilderness. How are we going to do that? And you got to pick people that you go, we got it. You
have that connection.
You pick your zombie apocalypse team.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And when they're great, when people are great, you never get rid of them. The reason why Clint Eastwood shoots an 8-hour day, guys, that's unheard of, is because he's had the same crew for 40 years.
Yeah.
They're
all in sync.
Yep. They get it done. They get it because none of this should take a long time. None of it. And people take a long time because either they're perfectionists to a point that borders on obsessive. And honestly, for me, I think it makes films feel sanitized in some ways. Or you got people who are really just stretching the day because they want to make the extra money on overtime. I got it. It's why my company is Skeleton Crew. I like to have such a small team that nobody is ever bored. The most boring place in the world is a film set. Oh God, is it boring? Not my film sets.
Yeah.
We are all working. Everybody's working. And we're having a great time. My sets are a party. Don't get me wrong. Like, they are a great time, but it is a working party. And that comes from everybody having enough to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's funny because it makes me think of George Romero talking about his experience on Martin versus The Dark Half, going from 5 people running gun to full-blown studio.
It's a stark contrast.
By the way, it's why it's so fun to watch Sean Baker doing what he's doing, because he's not wasting cash, man. Like, the guy can have a much bigger budget if he wants it. He's not asking for it. And his movies will continue to make money because he's not doing it that way. He's Woody Allen was allowed to make movies for decade after decade after decade because he never went over $7 million. He just didn't do it.
Yeah.
Well, you keep making movies then. If you get good reviews and you get enough people, enough eyeballs. I know we're not allowed to talk about Woody Allen anymore, which is insane. But the filmmakers who keep budgets reasonable, because you can make any movie on any budget. You just have to be a smart filmmaker. You just have to know how to do it. If you're more about how do I get this done and how do I problem solve rather than how do I pour money over this, well, you start solving problems with your brain rather than your wallet. Makes everything better. Always makes everything better. And you're right. I mean, you look at Romero's stuff when he's running gunning it, and you get The Crazies, which, by the way, I still think is so underrated.
Yeah.
It's so underrated. That movie is, there's a reason that they remade the thing. And by the way, the remake is good. It's not even, it's a good little movie. But I watched the Romero version. I go, this precedes so much of the paranoia of the 1970s, of filmmaking of the 70s. He really taps into something that's kind of, everybody talked about, what was it? Outbreak? No, not Outbreak. What was a Contagion? Everybody talked about Contagion.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I got to tell you, nobody talked about The Crazies, and all I kept thinking was The Crazies as COVID was happening. I was like, oh, this could get really bad.
Yeah.
Especially when the government comes in, I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I'll never forget.
We've seen how this played out.
I'll never forget being 30 and the paranoia of watching the amusement park for for the first time from him.
Sure.
That was like, I was like, I can't relate to this on any level. I was like, this guy's 50 years older than me. This is commenting on, but that movie scared the hell out of me to get older.
Yeah, George was special, man. He's a special filmmaker. He also just lived his life the way he wanted to live his life. He stayed in Pittsburgh. He didn't kowtow to anything. He just kind of he's a real renegade. He is. And look, I will tell you, someone just said, I've seen some of the best films I've ever seen with a budget that costs the same as a used car. That's literally how we made Secret Santa. Because we started a division of the company, which is in-house, known as the Where the Fuck Did Roger Corman Go division. And the reason for that is because when Corman was making movies, everything was for a budget. Everything was tiny. You didn't, you had a bologna sandwich and 2 cans of soup and go make your movie. But you got to make your movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there is something to that has real power. And when I made Secret Santa, I mean, I'll let you guys see it before I tell you how much it was made for, but it was nothing. And I shot in 11 nights.
Wow.
And by the way, 13 lead characters who were in almost every scene. So you're talking about covering 13 human beings for an entire movie that you have to shoot in 11 days. That's
wild.
So and by the way, tiny crew. The cast outnumbered the crew.
Wow.
And you know what? The movie has been all over the world. It's playing all over the world right now. And we were in festivals and we won Best Picture at several festivals. I mean, it was that movie. We were at Sitges. We were at Fright Fest. We were all over the place. And by the way, I didn't enter those festivals. They came to me.
Okay.
So that's the craziness, because it got seen at Sitges. And we had a friend there, so they wanted to see the movie. So I didn't even have to send it to Sitges. So they just watched the movie and were like, we want it. But when people saw it at Sitges, that was it. Like suddenly everybody was coming to us to show the movie. And I'm telling you, I spent way much more money traveling to film festivals than I did on the movie.
Yeah.
Way more.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get that now.
Yeah. I'm excited for you guys to see it. I am. I really am.
Yeah.
Is Hearts of Darkness is gonna get like a wide physical release?
We just announced. So I'm now doing a road show with it where we're going from place to place showing the movie. It's at a bunch of festivals and then other things that are going. We just won Best Picture at Best Documentary, at Ravenheart at Oslo, Norway. So
very
we just
nice.
won thank you. We just won the Ravenheart Film Festival. We played Fright Fest Glasgow. We are about to do the Big Bear International Film Festival. We're at a festival in Montreal. We're all over the place. We're going to be at Dublin Horathon in October, which I'm really excited about. But the movie is going to be available on Blu-ray. Special edition 2-disc set. It's crazy. It's 4 hours of stuff. 4 hours of goodness. It's teetering on knocking over Crystal Lake Memories, but it's about one movie. And it's got all kinds of extra goodies in there that I'm not allowed to talk about yet, but we're going to be putting it out through Synapse through
wonderful.
Nice.
through Red Shirt Films, which is Michael Felsher's division. And I got to tell you something, that was not done as a sweetheart deal. That was done because my feeling about releasing, people have to feel about the movie the way I feel about the movie. They have to love the movie the way I love the movie. When someone watches one of our films here at Skelvin Crew, someone watches one of our films and they're like, yeah, we can make a lot of money. I'm like, okay. What'd you think of the movie? Talk to me about the film. When I hear someone is invested and excited and can talk about the movie intelligently, that's when I go, no. Gotcha. That's what I need. So we are going to be exclusively on physical media. We're also going to be doing VHS tapes.
Oh,
there you go.
Oh, that's
it. That's a wrap.
You got Steven on that one.
Yeah, you got my money.
Now the VHS will only be of the feature itself, not the extras. So it'll be a 2 hour. It's the feature. But yes, we're doing VHS. We're doing the Blu-ray, and I am only doing physical media for now. We've had a lot of streaming companies come to us. I will not allow it to stream. There was even a festival that asked us to be in their festival, but they wanted us to be in the digital portion. I went, nope.
Oh, okay.
No. I will not let this thing do that. I'm not going to let that happen because, look, in order for filmmakers, in order for independent filmmakers to survive and to be able to make movies, guys, streaming is killing it. It's killing our business. It's killing the whole fucking business, but it's really killing indies.
I mean, clearly none of us are true streaming supporters here.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
what I'm saying. You know, look, I have to have the streaming networks only because I have to stay on top of what's going on for meetings and whatnot. So I pay for them, but most of my time is me watching Blu-rays and 4Ks and the shit that I adore, or popping in a VHS if there's nothing else, if they haven't released it any other way. No, physical media is everything. And by the way, the person who talks the most intelligently about this is Matt Damon. Matt Damon talks about like the loss of physical media and the destruction of our industry better than almost anyone else. But anyone else, he's brilliant with this stuff.
Wow. Yeah, I can't wait for that Synapse release. The work Michael Felsher puts in, his release of
insane.
His release of Trick or Treat is like you can't read the booklet, you can't watch the documentary, you can't see the transfer without feeling every bit of love that goes into that, man.
By the way, Eric Beetner cut some of those extras on that disc.
Wow.
Same guy who cut our film. Yep. Because Michael got along so well.
When I watch, I think it was just the Dark Half. Michael Felsher's the making of that he made for Screen Factories on that release, the new 4K from Vinegar Syndrome. And when I see his name pop up at the beginning of those like 45-minute long documentaries, like I know I'm good. I'm like, all right, I get comfortable. I'm like, all right, here we go. You know?
Yeah.
Incredible.
No, he's a great filmmaker. If you haven't seen After Effects, which was the first release
at
a Red Shirt, it's so good. It's so good. And it's like this tiny, no budget documentary, but he really did a beautiful job exposing what was a really interesting rise in Pittsburgh filmmaking. It's really cool.
I actually think After Effects I like After Effects better than Effects. Honestly, that's.
I agree with you. No, I agree with you. I think because I think it gets to the point of what Effects was really about, where Effects is a little dense and you can't quite make it all out. After Effects talks about it in a way that you go, oh, that's what the movie was. Oh, good. Oh, that's a better movie than I thought it was. I see that Face the Music was asking me how excited I was that we did the 4K. It was fucking awesome. It's fucking awesome.
What was the experience like? Because I mean, how deeply involved were you with that? And how did they approach you? Like, I love that release, hands down. We talk about it quite a bit since it's been released. So a lot of love that was put into it.
There really was. I will tell you, those guys Arrow is one of the best companies I've dealt with. By the way, they wanted the doc as well. But I really believed in what Michael was going to do with it.
Yeah.
I will tell you, they're amazing. I love Arrow. They're amazing. They also, when they asked me to come in to color grade the movie and to kind of polish it up, I said, look, I'm happy to come in and do this, which I've done. I did it for the DVD. I did it for the Blu-ray. I now did it for the 4K. I said, but can we please bring in my cinematographer? Because nobody ever asks him to come in. And I think we need him. It's great the director's there. I think the DP should be there too. And they said, oh, can you get a hold of him? I was like, yeah, I'll call him. So I called Bill. I said, hey, you want to come in and color grade this movie? He's like, oh my God, finally someone's allowing. I was like, yeah, come on. Yeah. So we were there for 3 days. When we shot the film, this is not even in the documentary. When we shot the film, we shot it on Kodak, right?
Okay.
And by the way, it was the second movie in the history of film to be shot at 22 frames per second.
Oh,
fascinating.
Interesting. Okay.
The first one was Sean Cunningham's Deep Star 6. The reason for this is that Sean doesn't think any actor can do anything fast enough. But the real reason for it is if you cut 2 frames from every second, you just get 10% of your film and processing budget. That's why he did it. But imagine telling a DP you have to shoot at a different frame rate for the entire movie. Bill had everything but an abacus out trying to figure out what his fucking f-stop was going to be because it was insane. It was insane because the film is going through the camera at a different rate. So it's exposing it to light differently. Which, by the way, no one does. Like it was nuts. The math was crazy. But we shot on Kodak. The reason we shot on Kodak was that we kept talking about The Godfather and about how rich the deep blacks in the background are. How it just goes to that, right? It's like they're rich blacks. They're not inky. They're rich, right? Well, when New Line went to put the movie out, New Line, much like Sean Cunningham, loves saving a buck. And they printed on Fuji. And suddenly the prints were a little milky. And suddenly those blacks that we'd worked so hard to achieve got lost and got a little milky, which broke my DP's heart. Now, whenever they went to go do a transfer of the movie, they were working off of that inner positive. Well, that's a problem because it never looked the way it should look. So on this release, Bill and I went in and went, yeah, we're going to fix this movie. So the 4K is the first time that movie has ever been seen the way I and Bill Dill intended it to be. It's the first time.
Wow. Well, it looked incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
It really did.
Who was it? So we're going to have, obviously, like, audio commentaries are very important to us. Sure. That's what our whole podcast is about.
Yep.
I've been in talks with Steve Barton about coming on to the podcast because I actually live in the same town.
Creepy is amazing.
Yeah, and his book is incredible. For anybody who hasn't read it, that's amazing.
He gave it to me before it came out. It's really special.
It's so good. Whose idea was it for the Michael Felsher Steve Barton commentary? Because it's incredible.
Michael told me he was going to do it, and he knows that I know Steve. Yeah. But him and Steve are really close friends, and I was like, fuck yeah, like I love that idea. And it was great because Michael was like, look, Adam, you've done so many commentaries, like I do not want to do another one. Like I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
So Michael was like, well, I'm thinking I'm gonna do one with Steve. I was like, that's gonna be fucking awesome. And it is. And again, you have my commentaries on there, the one with Peter Brackey and the one with Dean are both on there. So I'm like, we are doing multiple commentaries for the doc as well.
I will say, Steve. So cool. Steve is one of the nicest people I ever met. I followed him on Instagram and I shot him a message and I was like, I shot a message. I was like, look, I know we live in the same town. I was like, I want to get you to sign a copy of your book for me. And he was like, yeah, absolutely. And then I was like, by the way, this was like way back when we first started the podcast. I was like, I have a podcast that nobody's listening to. We focus on audio commentaries. And he was like, you tell me when and I'm there. And that was the first time that anybody was like, yeah, I'm there. And I was like, whoa, what do I do now? So we've been trying to work it out date-wise, but I just wanted to use that to plug not only his book, but that commentary track because it's incredible. And also on Jason X as well on that release too.
Jason X is one of those movies. I wish everybody could read the original screenplay of that movie. God, it was so good. Todd Farmer did such a fucking good job on that script. And they never got to shoot the movie. Jimmy and Todd just got railroaded because that script was badass.
How different was the original vision compared to like the
very fucking different?
Okay,
really?
I kind of figured.
Okay. It was not necessarily bigger. It was different. Okay. It was smarter. It was sharper. It's the reason why David Cronenberg said yes. I mean, it also Jimmy Isaacs did all of Cronenberg's text for so long, but it was a really good script, and it just got hacked up while shooting. It's crazy.
Wow,
it's crazy,
man.
Did Jason Goes to Hell get a novelization?
I believe it did, that I've never gotten a copy of, but I do think it did because a lot of people have talked to me about that. So I don't know. It did have a three issue comic book series. It did have a trading card collection from Topps, which I have many, many copies of. And it's awesome because not only do I have my own baseball card, but my brother Kip has a baseball card. And my brother Kip wanted to be a baseball player when we were kids. So for him, it was really fucking cool. Also, my brother Kip, one of his best friends is Reggie Jackson. True story. That's
whoa.
So Jason Goes to Hell had a lot of like cool tie-in stuff, But dude, no, I've never seen this novelization that I have heard is out there somewhere.
Wow. Yeah, well, we need to talk to somebody because the new novelization is back. Like Encyclopocalypse just announced Sleepaway Camp is getting a new novel. Like we need to talk to somebody, bro. We have to know somebody who can make this happen.
Yeah.
All right. We gotta.
I think it's great. I think it's great. By the way, Face of Music asked a bunch of questions. I've only got a few more minutes, guys. But
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
That's what I was leading into. One of he did ask if you can go back in time to change one thing on Jason Goes to Hell, what would it be?
Okay, so one thing for embarrassment reasons, one thing for technical reasons. One, the embarrassment is that I never should have let my brother Kip say, "Get away from her." I never should have had Jason speak. That's on me. That's on me. It's bullshit. It was me cheating because we weren't smart enough to figure out another way to do that scene without giving it away. So I hate that. I hate that that happened. By the way, I would also go back and get them to fucking fix the spelling on the goddamn mailbox. So fucking back about that. By the way, I won't give it away, but the dead last moment in the middle of the credits, the dead last moment of the movie of the doc is we reveal why it got fucked up and who was responsible. And every person who gave me shit is going to have to eat their own. Well,
we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. The thing I would change though, if I could remake the movie now, is that I originally wanted you to see the mask to start coming through the person's skin who was Jason, like, and their eyes sink in, and like suddenly you're seeing like the holes of the mask on their face and stuff. We just couldn't afford it. We couldn't afford to do the effects. So with digital, easy peasy, no big deal. So that's the thing I would have changed.
Yeah. Nice. Are you a fan of Freddy vs. Jason?
Let's put it this way. One, my mama always said, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything. Two, Kane Hodder is not in that movie, and Kane Hodder should have been in that movie.
Yep.
And when you hire a director that has never seen a Friday the 13th movie because he thinks they're stupid, why did you hire that director? That's all. That's all. And by the way, listen, there are people out there who fucking love that movie, and God bless you, man. Good on you. Again, I look, someone doesn't like my movie, I'm cool with it. Don't be a dick about it, but but it's totally cool. And use your real name. But
listen, you handled it with grace. So
I tried. It was like literally like it kept popping up in my face. You suck. It sucks. Fuck you. I'm like, oh my God. But look, here's the thing. I think that people should be able to love whatever they love. Like I think that someone's favorite film is something I can't stand, or stuff that I love. I'm sure there's people out there who don't like all that jazz. They're wrong, but I'm sure that they exist. And there's only a few movies in my life that have been dividing lines. Like there are a couple of movies that if you don't like it, we're not going to have a friendship. Like I don't need to know you. There are just a few. Yeah. But they are my little bombs, and if somebody says it, I just go, I know who you are. Bye.
Yeah.
But look, again, people who love Freddy versus Jason, that's awesome. That's awesome. And for some people, it was their first Freddy or first Jason movie, and of course they're gonna love it. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
You don't know that lore, go for it.
Yep.
But when Jason's taking a nap while a bunch of kids are having a studio meeting about how to kill Freddy, okay.
I do have one question for you.
Yes, please.
So now you've got they're kind of rebranding Jason now, right?
Yeah,
You're doing Jason Universe.
Yeah.
If you were asked to come back to do anything with Jason, would you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Look, I think the Crystal Lake series is going to be really cool. I'm a big fan of Bates Motel. I think they did a really nice job with that series, and I think they gave that lore more to talk about. I think going with Pamela is brilliant. By the way, if you guys have never read Pamela's story, it's a 2-issue Wildstorm arc comic book. It's amazing. It's really good. So I love that they're doing that. I think it's really cool. So I would direct, an episode of that. That's the kind of thing I would love to do. I would also if I was given the chance to make another Jason movie, and I'm sure there's some people right now screaming, "Fuck you! You should never get to touch another Jason movie." But if I was, especially Marty McFly, he would not have it. The movie that I would make would be, I would get together the people, the biggest badasses from the franchise, including Tommy, who I wanted as the lead of Jason Goes to Hell. I wanted to be Tommy Jarvis. We couldn't use it because Paramount owned it and New Line didn't buy that from them. But I would get Tommy. I would get, I get the original actors too. I get Tom Matthews. I bring back John LeMay. I bring Stephen Williams because Creighton Duke didn't die. You heard it here. I'm literally working on a Creighton Duke movie with Stephen Williams right now. I would get back Amy Steele.
Yeah.
And then I would get a bunch of badass alien-style Marines, and I would have them go into the woods of Crystal Lake to hunt Jason Predator style. And it would just be Jason versus all of these badasses. And that's the movie. So that would be the movie I would want to make.
Ooh.
Oh. Wow.
Or the 13th film.
Happy Bomb Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
That's the movie I would want to make.
Wow. That's awesome. What a way to end it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Adam, it was a lot of fun. I want to thank you so much for coming on here.
Thank you.
You had mentioned earlier I think you said the Gardena Cinema Los Angeles. You guys were working on trying to save that. Is there a way for us to try and kind of get involved with that for anybody watching?
Yeah, look, I got to tell you something. If you go to their website or even their Instagram page or the Facebook page, they're everywhere. Yeah. The Gardena Cinema. What's amazing about this place, it's an 800-seat theater. It is one of the last remaining old school Los Angeles movie houses.
Okay.
So much so they have baby rooms. So there are two. The balcony is encased in glass with speakers inside, so that moms with babies can be in those rooms so they can watch movies, which is something they used to do in the 40s.
Yeah.
The theater was built in the 1940s. The same families owned it since the 1970s. This incredible woman, Judy Kim, runs it, owns it. Her parents bought it before her. And if you go look at what they're doing, I mean, they are doing revivals. Guys, they did Killer Clowns from Outer Space a couple of weeks ago. They had the band that's in the movie on stage playing the music with the movie.
Oh my God!
Wow,
they are doing such. I saw a print of Phantom of the Paradise there just a few weeks ago. I was like, oh my God! I mean, it's never looked better, and they're really showing great films. And every once in a while, they'll show a new movie like mine, like Hearts of Darkness. They showed Nora, and Sean was there to talk about the movie. They are doing great stuff. The problem is, it's a tiny theater in Gardena. And people don't even know it exists, right? Most people in Los Angeles don't even know Gardena exists.
Yeah.
And because it's like an industrial city, people think, oh, it's a bad area. Bullshit. It's not a bad area. It's a great area. It's got free parking. It's insane. Like an 800-seat house that has free parking in Los Angeles, that's insane.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of place. So honestly, it's really just about beating the drum for places like this and sharing their shit. And I'm telling you, if you guys looked at their webpage, you would be like, oh my God, to be in this theater half of my life. It's that place. Like every movie they show is fucking cool.
Yeah.
They did Scott Pilgrim a few weeks back, and they had a bunch of LA bands playing before the show. Like they did a full concert before the movie. I'm like, this is the way the movie should be, man. Yeah. Oh, by the way, $10 tickets.
What?
Yep.
Oh. Dude, we get none of this cool shit in New Jersey. Nothing close to that.
They played Jason Goes to Hell and Hearts of Darkness back to back, and they charge people $20 for the night.
Oh my God.
That's a steal. That's amazing.
I'd be there all the time.
It's that, I'm telling you, it's that place. So no, I'm pounding the drum for these people. I actually signed a bunch of posters and stuff that they've already auctioned off just so that they can keep the theater going.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I just went and followed them because I wasn't following them before.
They're awesome.
So let me.
They're awesome. And Judy is amazing. Really, just an amazing person. Yeah, yeah. The programmer there is a genius. I mean, I'm telling you guys, like, really, like, check out what they're doing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
that's awesome. Well, guys, definitely check that out. And again,
Absolutely.
Adam, thank you so much for coming on. It was a lot of fun.
Thank
a lot
you
of
so
new
much.
insight.
The doc will be available in October, guys. So on Blu-ray from Red Shirt through Synapse. So
That's gonna be
it's
incredible.
awesome.
Definitely
Can't
pick it
wait.
up.
Forward to it.
Yes,
awesome.
very cool. And check out Secret Santa too.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, and we will catch you all next time. All right, see you later.